something else there. So.
Leicester are in vivid pink this afternoon, black shorts, pink trim down the sides at the bottom of the shorts as well, and pink socks. Chelsea all in blue, white socks. Olivier Giroud is waiting to get this game underway. 5 Live's Premier League Sunday, but one of those great afternoons on 5 Live Sport, because what a test match we have developing at Lords as well. Australia chasing 267 to win. Already 2 wickets down, currently 42 for 2. Jofra Archer has them both. Steve Smith is now out of the game. Australia leading that Ashes series by 1-0. Ball-by-ball commentary of that over on 5 Live Sports Extra, but you will not miss a beat this afternoon on 5 Live. So anything crucial happens there, we will be straight to Ellie Oldroyd. We will let you know what is going on. Chelsea-Leicester is underway. Leicester started their season with a 0-0 draw at home to Wolves. Brendan Rodgers has had 12 games against Chelsea as a manager. He's never managed to win any of them, and Chelsea, as we know, under Frank Lampard, started with that thumping 4-0 defeat away to Manchester United, but certainly in the first half played well. Azpilicueta's ball in, ball will Joshua a volley, and it's into the side netting from Pedro. He hit it so well. Cross came in from the right, Giroud laid it off beautifully. That is what he's brilliantly at. Pedro absolutely walloped that with his right boot, and half the stadium, Pat Nevin, thought it was a goal.
Yeah, because as you say, it rustled the net, but it was the side netting. He's caught it so well. I mean, Pedro is a fantastic finisher anyway. I mean, out on that pitch now, apart from Vardy, probably the best finisher on the field. Just maybe a slight surprise that he didn't get it on target there, but lively start for Chelsea, and it's going down that right side. No surprise, remember, no Chilwell, and of course no Maguire as well down that left centre side, so no surprise that Chelsea are pushing it there.
Yeah, Harry Maguire will be in action tomorrow night. 5 Live commentary game, Wolves against Manchester United. I will run you through the 2 full team lineups in just a second. A warm welcome to our listeners on the BBC World Service as well. Chelsea have started with real intent. Long diagonal ball from Zuma. Pedro tried to take it on the heel of his left boot and take it past Christian Fuchs. It didn't quite work out. Jorginho in towards Giroud, lays it off here. Might fall in the box from Mount. Pulisic on the rebound, can't quite stick it home. Chelsea all over Leicester in the early stages, and Soyuncu just desperately hacks the ball away for a Chelsea corner. They could have scored 3 by now.
I'll tell you what, that was almost the dream start for Frank Lampard as much as Mason Mount, because he breaks into that area from that 10 position he played, and he's got a great chance of scoring. The one thing that Mount has to add to his game is try to arrive in the box like Frank Lampard. He did there, just didn't finish like him.
2 minutes played, corner for Chelsea, whipped into the near post, flicked on right across the goal line, and Ricardo hooks it away under pressure from Azpilicueta. So that is the 4th half chance, decent chance, that Chelsea have had in the opening couple of minutes of the game. What a start.
Chelsea fans will remember quite a lot of time under Sarri. They played slowly, quietly into the game. They just passed slowly, and it's quite soporific for a lot of the time, particularly at the beginning of games. Ain't happening here.
Oh. Pedro with the volley into the side netting. Mount couldn't quite finish. Pulisic couldn't tuck home the rebound. And then that cross right across the face of goal. Here's Mount now, shoved over, surely edge of the box. No. Oliver Langford says no. It was Chowdhury with the challenge from behind. Leicester have given the ball away. Pedro is on it, midway inside the Leicester half on the right-hand side, and finds Jorginho. 10 yards inside the Leicester half. Jamie Vardy comes scuttling back just to get in his face. Chelsea move the ball quickly to the left-hand side. Here's Emerson, left-footed cross into the penalty area. Half volleyed away by Johnny Evans. Jorginho with a clever little scoop up over the head of Ayoze Perez. 1-2 with Emerson. Back to Emerson on the left-hand side. And Leicester, at the moment, struggling to draw breath.
Do you know, it's quite interesting. They really haven't got a kick of the ball yet, have they, Leicester?
Nope.
And it may well be that they want to do that and draw Chelsea in, which they have.
Yeah, they got it for a second there with the pressing tactics, and then Chowdhury gave it away, and they've given it straight back to Chelsea, and it's Azpilicueta looking for the run of Pedro down the right. Soyuncu comes across, the Turkish centre-back, to cover for Leicester, closes in, 2 men on Pedro, he's tackled, keeps the ball down by the corner flag. Fuchs then brings it away, tackled by Azpilicueta, wins the ball down on the floor, hooks it in field, and Soyuncu this time with his right foot, it's a nice chip pass up the left-hand side. Maddison can't control it. Chelsea onto him quickly, he gets it back off Azpilicueta. Soyuncu's under pressure from Giroud, and again floats his pass down the left, but this one goes out of play. 4 minutes played, 0-0, Pat Nevin.
It's hard for Leicester just now. They cannot get on the ball. Every time they get the ball at the back, they're closed down very quickly by, obviously, N'Golo Kanté, who's everywhere in this field just now. But they can't get a good possession. already at the start of this game, you're watching Jorginho begin to control the play and the passing in the midfield, but doing it quicker than he was last season as well. They need to get a foothold in this game quickly, Leicester.
Chelsea come all the way back into their own penalty area. Kurt Zouma's on the ball on the left-hand side of the box again. Hits a long 50-yard diagonal pass onto the chest of Azpilicueta, who just gives it to Pedro and sets off down the right. Conte, little right-footed ball, looking for Azpilicueta, tackled by Soyuncu, and it's out for a Chelsea throw. Just to be clear here, because Robbie did it, you did it, and I did it, Pat, because we always get messages about this. N'Golo Conte pronounces his own name as Conte.
I do this vague in the middle of Conte, then Conte.
Throw in for Chelsea. 0-0 here against Leicester. Powerful header away by Ndidi. And Fuchs on the bouncing ball wins a header. Tielemans clears with his left foot. Let's give you this Chelsea team. Kepa in goal. Azpilicueta at right back. Emerson at left back. Christensen and Kurt Zouma, the two centre backs. Rudiger still unavailable through injury. Jorginho, Conte and Mason Mount as a midfield three. Pedro on the right, Pulisic on the left, and Olivier Giroud is the centre forward. Chelsea at it again. Emerson, low cross in. Good sliding block from Chowdhury. Hooked away by Ricardo. But, I mean, again, Leicester there, Pat, just happy to get rid.
Yeah, and you do that when you're under that sort of pressure. I mean, all over this Leicester seemed like a rash, and watching the likes of Kanté play, just another chance there for Pedro. Didn't quite get on the end of it. But that's a real problem that Leicester have got, because both players, Pulisic and obviously Pedro as well, they just don't stick out in the wing. They come in.
Oh, well Mason Mount, brilliant pressing, takes Ndidi out and scores the goal. Mason Mount with his first goal for Chelsea, and he did it all on his own. That was brilliant. Ndidi caught dawdling on the edge of the box. Mount took it off him. He had options left and right, but he only had eyes for goal, and he's drilled that past Kasper Schmeichel with his right foot. Chelsea 1, Leicester 0.
And a massive call for Frank Lampard to go for the youngster Mason Mount, who's came through the academy. But he's went with him. He's done very well in pre-season training. And do you know what? There was a game out, I'm trying to think, it was Reading earlier on this season. He did the same thing and ended up getting a goal out of it. He closes down goalkeepers and centre-backs from that number 10 position, and he's got a great reward for it. I said it was almost a dream start for Frank Lampard. It is a dream start for Frank Lampard.
20-year-old Mason Mount joined Chelsea at just 6 years old, playing under Frank Lampard last season. Let's not forget at Derby. He managed 11 goals for them, 9 in the Championship. Made his Chelsea debut against Manchester United last Sunday, and so on his home debut for Chelsea, he has scored his first goal for the club. Chelsea 1, Leicester 0. Sheffield United beat Crystal Palace by 1-0 in the 2 o'clock kickoff this afternoon in the Championship. Reading beat Cardiff 3-0. Pulisic now running at Leicester defenders, and Ndidi gets in there and makes the block. Johnny Evans, they're all over in the Chelsea attackers, swarming on him as he tries to get his clearance away. Leicester have done that okay, but then Tielemans has given it away. Here's Mount again. Plays it wide to Pulisic. He's tackled by Ricardo. Chelsea have a throw on the left.
It's horrible for Tielemans and Chowdhury and Ndidi in there. They want to pass it to each other. They cannot get 2 or 3 passes strung together. They've got Jorginho all over them. Of course, they've got Conte all over them as well. But Jorginho's energy is absolutely incredible in there just now. But you've got to say that about every single player in that Chelsea team just now, including Mason Mount. They're going at 100 miles an hour. Question is, can they keep that level up?
How long have we played? 8 minutes. Chelsea lead Leicester 1-0. Frank Lampard out there in the white long-sleeved Chelsea training top with a blue band around the middle, tight-fitting black tracksuit trousers, barking the orders. Brendan Rodgers, his opposing number, in the smart suit, hands in pockets. Mason Mount, full of confidence, flicks the ball into the shins of Ricardo and wins Chelsea a throw on the left. Kasper Schmeichel in goal for Leicester. Ricardo right back. Christian Fuchs in for the injured Ben Chilwell at left back. Johnny Evans and Chala Soyuncu, the two centre-backs. And Ndidi in front of the back four. Tielemans and Chowdhury in central midfield. Chowdhury's pass forward is blocked here, and Ndidi gets onto it and plays it to the left. Fuchs quickly on to Maddison. Maddison has a little run at Azpilicueta. Pedro in to help his teammate out. Wins 2 tackles, takes it off Fuchs. And then a little back heel, looking for N'Golo Conte. Couldn't find him, but Azpilicueta tackles Maddison. Chelsea have it again. Maddison on the left. Iosi Perez, I don't think has touched the ball yet in the first half for Leicester, and probably nor is Jamie Vardy up front.
Took the words out of my mouth there. Jamie Vardy doing all the running, he always does now. He's getting nothing. However, he will keep on going, and maybe that's the one thing Brendan Rodgers will have in his mind just now. Zuma, Christensen, both quite young centre backs. You know, they've lost David Luiz out there, and last year it was Luiz and Rudiger. Now it's two new players just now, so they want to give them a little bit of pressure.
I think to say this is a very promising start by Chelsea is an understatement. Pedro looking to whip across in from the right. Fuchs blocks it. It's out for a throw. Last we heard, Australia 42 for 2, chasing 267 to try and win that second test against England at Lords. England looking for 8 more wickets. Ball by ball commentary over on 5 Live Sports Extra. You can also get that via the BBC Sounds app if you've got that on your device. Just go to the Listen Live on the BBC Sounds app and you'll be able to pick up 5 Live Sports Extra. Jorginho, right-footed stab ball, looking for Giroud, making a run down the inside right channel. Fuchs away to Maddison, good first touch, and he slips away from Conte and then slides the pass in for Vardy, chasing back is Christensen, slides in and clears for Chelsea. It's a Leicester throw.
And of course that's what Leicester are playing for, isn't it? You know, to try and draw Chelsea. I don't think they're drawing them in, they're just getting pushed back. However, they will play on the break, and Vardy there against Christensen, and Vardy can take most players for pace, and it was everything that Christensen had there. He had to slide, he had to stretch his leg, and he just got a toe in there. Good tackle, but a warning for Chelsea.
Don't forget, Chelsea fans, and I know it's very early stages of this game, Robbie Savage taking the calls with Sam Queck tonight on 606 08085 909 693. I can promise you that they will want to hear from you. Throw in for Leicester on the left, 10 minutes played, and Leicester massively up against it. 1-0 down, just trying to establish a foothold in the game. Fuchs knocks it into the shins of Azpilicueta, the left back for Leicester wearing number 28. And the right back for Chelsea wearing number 28.
That's very unusual, yeah. Well, I think it was Fuchs that was caught in the ball, wasn't it? I'll need to double check that and have a look at the replay for the goal.
Ndidi.
Yeah.
It was Ndidi.
Right.
Yeah. Throw into the penalty area, looking for Ndidi. Conte volleys away on the turn. Giroud, good battle with Soyuncu, shoulder to shoulder. Soyuncu's won it and then stretches out a leg, fouls Mason Mount, and actually Oliver Langford's given the free kick. I thought he might play the advantage. The other thing was actually, Pat, I was going to say, is Ndidi, having lost the ball, actually tried to bring Mount down in the penalty area because he knew he was going to score and couldn't even manage to do that. Mount kept his feet and took the chance well.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's worth mentioning also the fact that Giroud's had a very, very good game. He's been pivotal in everything, you know, going forward, holding the ball up, laying it off, working well alongside Mount. So he's had a good. Actually, everyone in Chelsea's actually started well just now. We're not ignoring Leicester. It's just they haven't done anything. They've hardly had the ball.
Emerson's left-footed pass forward. He was caught late as he played it by Tielemans. Both players are hurt. And that will be a free kick to Chelsea, but Tielemans is going to have to receive treatment while he is off the field. That would be a good chance to get to Lords. Latest on the second test. Ellie Oldroyd.
It's tea. Australia 46 for 2. They need another 221 runs. They've got 34 overs minimum after tea to do it. Marnus Labuschagne and Cameron Bancroft having weathered the England storm a bit in this pre-tea session. Earlier on, 115 not out for Ben Stokes in England's 258 for 5 declared. Mark Ramprakash, in a word, after tea, well, in a couple of words, how's this going to go?
Well, England can be well proud of their efforts. They've really come out hard. The fast bowlers, led by Jofra Archer, have been hostile. They've bowled a probing line. And, of course, we've just seen, just before tea, Jack Leach introduced to the attack and turn a couple of balls sharply from the rough. So England are well in this game, and they are going to really try and give Australia a bloody nose here and take a few scalps and push for an unlikely win.
It's been a really gripping day of Test cricket again. It's going to be really fascinating after tea as well. 46 for 2. Australia need another 221 runs. England need another 8 wickets.
Thank you, Ellie. We will hear plenty from Ellie throughout this commentary and on into 6:06. Test match probably finishing around 7:30 tonight. It's like that World Cup final day, and the men's Wimbledon final, you just didn't know where to look, listen, you want to be across absolutely everything. Well, stay with us here on 5 Live Sport. We'll keep you updated on the cricket. Pat Nevin and I enjoying a really thunderous start to Chelsea-Leicester. Mason Mount with the early goal for Chelsea, Frank Lampard's first competitive home match in charge, and Olivier Giroud has come back from an offside position to chest the ball down. Leicester get a free kick. Pat.
Yeah, and what Leicester would have wanted to do is last the first 15-20 minutes without losing a goal, cope with that onslaught. Well, they've not managed to do that. But they have only lost one goal, and for the last minute or two they began to get a little bit of possession. And Chelsea have not been going at quite the pace they were for the first 10 minutes, but if that was the plan, go for that pace for the first 10 minutes and try and get an early goal. That worked. The only player I would say in the Chelsea team who hasn't really shone yet is Pulisic. He's really not had much of the ball out in this left hand side. Most of the ball's going down the right hand side, but again, that might be a slight worry for Leicester because he's a player.
Kasper Schmeichel in sort of all dark grey for Leicester. They are playing it around inside their own penalty area. Schmeichel gets it back from Soyuncu. Right-footed pass, floated wide. Ayoze Perez chests it down. The ball then bounces on his back as he slips, and Chelsea win it back just inside the Leicester half. Quick fire passing between Emerson and Jorginho. Zuma actually plays the ball behind Andreas Christensen, so he has to come back to his goalkeeper Kepa, who is all in bright yellow. The pitch is sliced down the middle vertically by shade and sunshine. Giroud wants a free kick as Johnny Evans clambers over the back of him. He doesn't get it.
Is it my imagination as the referee not giving many free kicks at the moment? There's been maybe 3 or 4 that have looked pretty clear, usually given in the Premier League, and he's, I give him his due, he's letting the play go on. That looked to me like a quite obvious grapple. I haven't said that, Giroud was backing in a bit, there's no doubt about that.
Should just mention that again though, Pat. First Premier League game for Oliver Langford, was down to be the 4th official. Graham Scott, who was the VAR in last night's Manchester City-Tottenham game, caught in traffic. He is the 4th official today, but couldn't get here in time to be ready to be the man in the middle.
The players won't bother about that. That's the thing. We'll be interested. Some of the fans will have a chat about it. However, players, you've probably forgotten all about that as soon as the game started.
But if he's an inexperienced referee at this level, would you not think as a player, right, well, we'll get into him and we'll be in his ear and we'll try and,
to some degree, but you said do that with any player. I mean, that's generally what happens, if you try and, influence. So I see some players more than others try and influence the referee. Still listening, Robbie? And really, none of them have done it for me yet, today. They've all been kind of, get on with the game. Little complaint if they don't get a decision, but they can get on with it.
More from Robbie Savage at half-time. Chelsea 1, Leicester 0. 16 minutes played in the first half. If you are just tuning in, Mason Mount with his first Chelsea goal, and Chelsea's first Premier League goal this season, having been beaten 4-0 at Old Trafford last Sunday. Ball is loose on the halfway line. Great run forward by Ricardo. Slides the pass in and it just hits the feet of Vardy. I think Vardy thought that might have been going to Maddison on the left and wasn't quite ready for it.
I think it was going to Maddison. I think the pass was meant for him. And Jamie got in the way just slightly there. Maddison's he devastated about it, but I don't think it was 100% he was going to get on the end of it, but it was a real chance, and you can see very, very similar chances, or not even chances, but build-ups in play that are looking to get a little bit of space for them to run in behind. It's beginning to look as if they're cropping up now for Leicester, so they'll be lifted by that.
Leicester have the ball back in their own penalty area with Kasper Schmeichel. Full time in the Super League. Hull KR against Wakefield Trinity. Dave Woods.
Hugely significant. Hull KR 10, Wakefield 38. Hull KR falling apart in the second half. Wakefield running away with it. That's a big step away from relegation for Wakefield. 2 points clear of bottom spot with only 3 games left. Hull KR still mired in danger. And in the other game, another relegation trouble side, Huddersfield, beaten 24-0 by Castleford.
Thank you, Dave. Johnny Evans, cool under pressure from the right back position for Leicester. Chips the ball up towards the halfway line. First time pass forward from Maddison comes straight back to him. Christensen, low pass finds Emerson. Emerson charges forward, makes 20 yards, and then feeds Pulisic on the left-hand side. Pulisic with 2 pink shirts in front of him. Skips past Tielemans. Slides a pass across the face of the penalty area to Azpilicueta. Cross into the box is volleyed away by Undidi. That goes high up in the air. Conte underneath it, heads it to his right-hand side, and Pedro jumps in and just comes flying past Fuchs to win the header on the bouncing ball. and gets Chelsea moving again, and Jorginho with an optimistic floated chip pass over the top. Giroud wasn't going to get that, and Fuchs now has a chance to clear, Pat.
Well, they're not doing very well in the 50-50s, are they, Leicester? You know, even the ones that they've got an advantage because of the taller player, so far it's not looked good at all. But you can see the game plan, you know, it might work, but at the moment you look at Leicester and think if you lose another goal you could be in real danger. Just a moment there, a Pulisic, nice little piece of play.
Yeah, his first real attacking involvement in the game. Leicester have taken a quick throw and found Tielemans in space on the left. He's played the ball all the way back to the bushy head. Chowdhury, right-footed pass across to Ricardo, and that cross is way too close to Kepa. No chance for the attackers to get anywhere near that, and Kepa grabs it with both hands. Chelsea 1, Leicester 0.
We're mentioning Pulisic there. You know, he's fitted in and out of the game a little bit, just a lovely little movement there, and sometimes you just need to see one movement for a player and you think, oh, you've got something, and he has. He is quite special. He's got one major problem though. He ain't Eden Hazard. And that's the difficulty. He will be compared to him all the time.
Oh, now Chelsea have almost lost this on the edge of their own box, and Kurt Zouma was alert to the danger, came sliding in with a challenge on Perez. Maddison goes down. He's not going to win the free kick. Shot from Perez is blocked. He was closed down quickly. Jorginho chips a ball forward. A little bit loose from Chelsea there, so Leicester have a chance to win it back on the right-hand side. And Tielemans again, he's not quite been at it so far, although it's been very difficult for that Leicester midfield. The ball runs away from him and out for a Chelsea throw.
Well, they need to keep on going because spaces will open up for them. They always do, you know, but it might be 20 minutes before the end of the game before that actually happens. But at the moment, it's difficult for them, but you're beginning to see little moments for that, you know, that Leicester midfield just beginning to get into it. However, maybe danger from the break.
Lot of space for Mason Mount running across this smooth Stamford Bridge surface. Gives it to Pedro, little step over from him, edge of the area, trying to tee up a left foot shot, works it back onto the right foot, finds out Spilicueta, cross, Mount's header straight at Schmeichel. He could have had a second.
Oh, I hate to do this to the kid. It's a real Lampard thing, isn't it? He's just arrived there again, hasn't he? Exactly where you want to be. In actual fact, he's got there and he's static. Frank would be arriving there and hitting it.
This is the thing, though, Pat, about the comparison. So we're saying we want Pulisic to be Hazard, and we want Mount to be Lampard.
And it's so unfair. It's grotesquely unfair. I mean, Hazard, one of the best players in the world, so it's kind of hard for you to be that good. And Frank Lampard has scored more goals than anybody else from that position I've ever known. And the best in the business at arriving in the box. But I'll tell you what, we've seen enough today to know that Mount wants to do it, and he's been told to do it, and he's trying to do it.
It's former Chelsea winger Pat Nevin with us on BBC Radio 5 Live. Jamie Vardy battling hard for Leicester. Takes the ball off Christensen, who has to concede the throw. Dundee Aberdeen in the Scottish League Cup second round ties gone into extra time. 1-1 after the 90 minutes. Rangers have won 3-0 at East Fife, and Reading have beaten Cardiff earlier on today in the Championship by 3-0. You've probably heard our first Premier League commentary of the day. Sheffield United, 4 points from 2 games. Great start under Chris Wilder. John Lundstrom with the goal. They beat Crystal Palace by 1-0. 6:06, the place to react to all of that later on this evening with Robbie Savage and Sam Quek. Free kick for Leicester on the left.
Can I have a quick applause to Chowdhury? Got tackled there, didn't roll about and make too much of it. It's nice to see players doing that. Doesn't happen often.
Maddison swings the ball in. That was a good one as well. Perez trying to win the flick on. Giroud just puts his body in the way for Chelsea, ends up in a heap on the floor, and he's knocked it behind for a Leicester corner. So set piece defending for Chelsea to do.
Yeah, by the way, they weren't very good in the pre-season with the set piece defending, Chelsea, so they need to work on that. They play a zone across the 6-yard line, and to be honest, they were caught out a few times in pre-season with that, so Leicester will be aware of that.
James Maddison holds both arms in the air, low one into the near post, little layoff. Now that doesn't quite work out. Pedro gets it, gives it to Conte. Conte was trying to find Giroud on his right, and the ball eventually has gone out for a Leicester throw. Maddison thought about taking it quickly. Perez was there, but Maddison decided it wasn't worth it. And Christian Fuchs plays across midfield to Ndidi. Australia 46 for 2 at tea, needing another 221 runs to try and win that second test at Lords and go 2-0 up in the series. England need the 8 wickets. Ball-by-ball commentary over on 5 Live Sports Extra. Chowdhury, strong, calm, under pressure, surrounded by blue shirts, keeps the ball for Leicester. Johnny Evans comes striding forward across the halfway line in these bright pink shirts of Leicester's. Ricardo looking for the 1-2 with Perez. Strong from Zuma, knocks Perez off the ball, knocks Ndidi off the ball. Chelsea fans egging him on as he goes charging down the left, and he's won Chelsea a throw.
Well, that's a big moment really for Zuma there, because the difficulties he had, particularly given that first penalty away against Manchester United in the first game, which led to the 4-0 defeat. So the pressure was on him. I wondered if he was expecting Chelsea fans to turn on him a wee bit. No. Right behind him. They loved that there.
Has to be a foul.
Come on, referee.
Johnny Evans was pulling Giroud back. The throw-in was aimed to Giroud, and we have a fantastic view of it up here, but that was blatant, Pat. That was a hand on the shoulder, pulling him back.
Can his assistant not help him a little bit there? I mean, his assistant's, same side here, 25 yards away. Come on, give him a hand.
Yeah, that was Oliver Langford got that wrong, and now he's given Chelsea a free kick that I don't know what he's given that
and
for.
Exactly the same position.
Yeah.
He knows he made a mistake there, and he's made up for it. In that case, that's actually not bad refereeing.
I will always remember an occasion commentating at the St Mary's Stadium, sitting alongside Tony Pulis, and a referee got one wrong, and I think should have given something to the attacking team. Didn't. They then got a corner about a second later. And before, he didn't say it on air, he just said to me, if this goes in and there's anything wrong with it, the goal will stand. Boom. And it just played out exactly as he said it would. 24 minutes gone in the first half. Chelsea 1, Leicester 0. Emerson or Mount with the free kick from the left. Schmeichel 3 yards off his line, poised and ready. Emerson's going to leave it here for the goal scorer Mason Mount. Whipped in with his right foot, headed away by Soyuncu. Emerson half volleys the ball back into the box, and Zuma was coming back towards and didn't challenge for it, so it ends up in the arms of the Leicester captain Kasper Schmeichel.
Zuma's a wee bit sluggish getting out of there. He's gone in to chase the first ball there and then jogs out. You have to get back out for the second phase of play there, and he was offside by the time the ball came back in. And remember, he is the number one player that Chelsea will be aiming for with crosses and corners into the box. He has got a fantastic leap.
Conte onto Jorginho. Pulisic now in a central position, 40 yards from goal. Just goes moving away to his right, lays it back to Jorginho, floats the pass onto the chest of Emerson. Emerson shimmies to go left, plays infield to Mount. Pulisic again getting more and more involved as the first half goes on. Emerson's ball into the near post. Giroud flicks it on Conte, just wide with his right foot. Would have been a wonderful team goal.
It was a joy. It was a good save there, the tackle there. And Giroud has been brilliant in this game so far. His link-up play, his lead-up play. But this little back heel from the cross with his right foot, knowing that N'Golo Kanté would be coming in there. And you're right, what a goal that would have been. And by the way, what a tackle it is there. Phenomenal tackle to save a goal. Beautiful play.
Mason Mount on the set pieces, having just taken the free kick. He'll take the corner as well. Pedro is sort of 10 yards away from him down the left-hand touchline, but this one's going straight in. Schmeichel comes, gets a right fist to the ball. Pulisic will get there first for Chelsea. Corner of the area, dummies across, goes past Perez, low cross, blocked by Perez, back off Pulisic, and behind for the goal kick. And Schmeichel applauds the defending. Chelsea fans, whatever happens, Pat, in terms of the results, if Chelsea are going to play like this all season, they're going to enjoy the football, aren't they?
Well, the Chelsea fans are a bit like that. Because the club has been incredibly successful for a period of time, and historically it's a fairly short period of time, there's enough Chelsea fans around here to remember the bad times. So there's not an absolute demand that you win every year. It's great, and they'll celebrate if they win every year. But if they have a foul year, they'll put up with it, and they'll certainly put up with it if they watch this type of football and Frank Lampard's the manager.
Clever back heel from Pedro, finds Mount. Mount holds it up, lays it off to Emerson. Emerson gives it back to Mount, and he's in the starting lineup because he's good enough to be in the starting lineup, but he's becoming a central figure today, Pat. They're very, Chelsea players looking for him all the time on the set pieces as well.
By the way, if you're playing the number 10 in a 4-3-3 and kind of the furthest forward midfielder, yes, you've got to be pivotal and you're going to be on the ball, so they trust him implicitly. Frank Lampard trusts him implicitly. One of the lovely things about him, he has got such a velvet touch. When the ball comes into him, it always sticks and it's comfortable and it's relaxed. He's got a beautiful touch on the ball.
Christensen. Chelsea inside their own half, working it out nicely. Azpilicueta onto Conte, who suddenly steps on the gas. He's being chased hard. Pass is deflected into the path of Pedro. Up to the edge of the Leicester box. Little ball looking for Mount again. Pedro maybe could have hit a shot there. Leicester have a chance to clear and possibly hit Chelsea on the counter here. Frank Lampard applauding his team as they get back to try and get numbers back behind the ball. Perez has it for Leicester with his right foot, scoops it high to Tielemans, who in turn plays it back down the line for Perez. Level with the edge of the Chelsea box. Tielemans is fouled by Pedro. Free kick for Leicester.
That's Pedro trying to make up for the mistake he made before, trying to play Mason Mount, and when actually had the correct ball, Emerson was hammering up the left hand side there. He could have been played in for a direct shot on Kasper Schmeichel. Poor mistake there for Pedro, doesn't do that very often. And now another mistake, giving a free kick away and a chance for Leicester to go and attack it.
Free kick Leicester. Last delivery from Maddison from the left was good. This one is from the right, standing in glorious sunshine here at Stamford Bridge. Runs on the spot, pace on the ball with his right foot, curled into the area. Fuchs chests it down and then chips a ball high in the air, drops on the edge of the box. Giroud heads it away for Chelsea. Tielemans with a touch and then lofts another one into the box. Not the best header from Emerson. It came off Jose Perez. It's fallen for Pedro. Pedro plays back to Emerson. This time Pedro is fouled by Maddison. And Chelsea get the free kick. Chelsea 1, Leicester 0. We're approaching the half-hour mark here on BBC Radio 5 Live.
And it's went very quickly, hasn't it? It's been an entertaining game. It's been played at a really fast pace. Maybe Leicester fans might feel slightly different about it because they've not had much in the sense of attacking. But, you know, they're always dangerous on the break. Looking at Chelsea, I mean, they are adapting it a little bit just now. Pedro's gone left, and it gives a chance for Pulisic to go right. Frank does allow that and like that, you know. He wants the midfield players to open.
Giroud flick on, finds Pulisic in the first touch, just too far for Pulisic to get on the end of that. Schmeichel comes out and grabs it.
Well, that's that move, I tell you, that Pedro loves to make, but Pulisic is very, very good at it as well. Coming in from the wide angles and just coming in at a direct angle towards the goal. They're both very dangerous, and I think Pulisic will score a lot.
Kepa's almost caught in possession inside his own box, just got a foot on it in time, and Zuma's there to save the day.
I need to get the habit of this. You think everything's calm and relaxed because somebody's on the ball in a normal place, and then the amount of mistakes you're seeing from goalkeepers and sitting midfielders these days, because I'm not going to say they're overplaying it, but they're playing it in positions they didn't used to.
Yeah. Adrian yesterday, of course, giving the goal away for Liverpool. They still went on to win the game by 2-1. Here, Chelsea 1, Leicester 0. Half an hour in. No VAR involvement as yet. Mike Dean is the man in charge of this game. Back at Stockley Park, when I walked into the ground actually a couple of hours before kickoff, up on the big screens where they're going to show the VAR decisions, it said VAR, and then underneath, Pat, it said temporarily unavailable.
And half the place cheered.
And
not me, may I add, not me.
No, you and I are both fans. It could also have said match referee Graham Scott, temporarily unavailable. So he's fourth official. Oliver Langford is the ref. 15 minutes left in the first half, and Chelsea, for all the verve and the thrills and the possession they've had, still just have the one goal, the early goal from Mason Mount. Ricardo so good at that for Leicester, bringing the ball out up the pitch and beating men. He's fouled. Free kick for Leicester just inside the Chelsea half.
Well done, referees. Not getting carried away there. It's, some referees are going to the pocket for that. It's just a foul. It's nothing more than that, but he really comfortable in the ball going forward. And it's a bit more of an even game the last 10 or so minutes, but Chelsea just have looked a little bit more dangerous when they've broken the lines there. And the problem the Leicester have got is there's so many players that want to break that final line. Pulisic will do it, but Kante will do it as well. Pedro will want to do it as well. They really have got a lot of options at the moment, Chelsea.
Chowdhury has to come all the way back to Schmeichel. Pedro comes hurtling in to put him under pressure. Schmeichel clears first time with his left foot. Ball dropping on the halfway line. Azpilicueta, I think, being fouled by Maddison there. Got his head on the ball. Play continues, and then Maddison turns Azpilicueta, throws himself to the floor, doesn't get the free kick. That's happened a couple of times in the first half, where the ref just said get up.
Yes, I think things that have happened last season with Maddison are coming back to haunt him.
Okay, Maddison on the left hand side has the ball back and looks fired up. Next break in play will take you back to Lords. Remember, at T, Australia were 46 for 2, chasing 221 to win the second test. Let's just see what Leicester can do with this, though. Perez on the right, back to Ricardo, towards Tielemans, trying to lay it off to Ricardo again. Chelsea have won it, and this time Mason Mount shows another side of the game, strength to hold an opponent off and keep the ball for Chelsea. Leicester have it on the halfway line with Soyuncu. Short ball forward to Maddison. To Lords, Ellie.
And Cameron Bancroft is out, and it's the bowling of Jack Leach which has done him in the first over after tea. Cameron Bancroft just getting underneath him, and LBW decision given by the umpire. Ben Stokes leaps in the air. It was his century that got England into this position. 16 for Cameron Bancroft. Australia 47 for 3, chasing 267 over 33 more overs.
Thank you, Ellie. 7 more wickets needed for England to level the series. Ball by ball commentary continues on 5 Live Sports Extra. Chelsea bringing the ball out of their own half, and Pulisic just caught in possession, tackled by Perez, who will say I got a foot on the ball there, but as he did that, Pulisic was swinging his leg back, Pat, to play the pass, and was caught by Perez, and Chelsea have the free kick.
Yeah, one of those tricky ones where, yeah, he did actually get the ball, but he got the player as well. 6.5 dozen. Some referees give it, some wouldn't. I would say the vast majority would give that as a free kick.
Chelsea 1, Leicester 0. 12 minutes remaining in the first half. 08085 909 693 is the number to call. 606 tonight.
And I think if any Chelsea fans phone in, if it keeps on going this way, I think they will be quite delighted with what they've seen. Not just, in this game. I mean, obviously Manchester United didn't go well for them, but they played well. But the game against Liverpool in the Super Cup, they played exceptionally well in that game too. Good spirit.
Pulisic was impressive in that game. He's tackled here on the left. Johnny Evans has the ball for Leicester. Chipped down the line by Ricardo. Perez gets away from Emerson, starts drifting infield and plays a low pass to Chowdhury. Chowdhury just one touch and quickly on to Fuchs. The move has lost a little momentum as Fuchs stops and plays it back into the Leicester half towards Evans. Evans getting closed down by Giroud. Wanted an option there, is annoyed that he didn't get one. Indeed, he has it for Leicester. Plays it to Soyuncu, comes sprinting towards the ball. Maddison, that's a nice touch and turn to get away from Azpilicueta. Toes one down the line for Chowdhury to get to. Little nutmeg there on Christensen, but Azpilicueta is back to get a foot in and finds Conte. Chowdhury is chasing Conte hard. He heard him coming. He turned, and Chelsea have worked that beautifully via Pedro and Jorginho back to Conte, although Conte's lost it. Indeed, he's in there, and Pedro quickly nips in and gets it back for Chelsea. Warm applause around Stamford Bridge from the home fans. They lead 1-0 with 10 minutes remaining in a highly entertaining first half.
Yeah, good willingness to win the ball back, but just for a few moments there, that was more like it for Leicester. They didn't panic and get the ball up front really quickly. They held it at the back, just giving a number of players like passes on the ball to get comfort part of the game. And they need to do that a wee bit more often. Don't panic. You hold on to the ball. You're very, very capable players in that team, particularly in the midfield.
Soyuncu bringing the ball forward, just giving it to Ndidi. Soyuncu for the first 2 games this season has been chosen as the man to replace Harry Maguire. Evans and Soyuncu, that first choice pairing. Jamie Vardy is chasing, tackled by Zuma. Last touch came off a Leicester player. Chelsea get the throw. I watched Leicester last week, Pat, and it was a fairly frustrating afternoon for Jamie Vardy then, and this so far is another one.
Well, he doesn't mind frustrating afternoons as long as he gets one chance. It's his life. That's how he spends it.
And actually, he did get one in the first half of that game, and actually had a bit of an air shot. There was a Tielemans cross came flying across the box, and he just didn't make contact.
But he's one of these guys. He's happy to judge himself in those levels. He'll not say, "Oh, I only got one chance." He'll say, "Give me one chance." And he'll back himself to score that most of the time. I'll tell you what, he's having a tough time against. To be fair, Zuma's had a really good game in this game. He's sometimes an awkward character to watch as a player.
Perez on the ball for Leicester. Leicester wanted the advantage. Tielemans is down hurt. You heard the shrill blast of Oliver Langford's whistle, who saw the challenge. Quite rightly has given the free kick. There was a chance there to let Perez take it on into the penalty area, and Pat at the moment is just scrutinising the monitor, looking at the tackle from Pat Jorginho, wasn't it?
Yeah, stood in his foot. I've said this often. If you watch it,
yellow card.
Yellow card for standing in the foot. And I don't know the answer to this, right? I played game for nearly 20 years professionally, and once every 6 months someone would trod on someone else's foot, right? Every single game now, somebody stands on somebody's foot. It can't just be lucky. They must know they're doing that. It's an extraordinary thing that never used to happen, or rarely happened, and it happens all the time now.
Free kick for Leicester then. Yellow card for Jorginho. Vanishing spray applied with flourish to the pitch by Oliver Langford. Gets ready to blow his whistle. Pulisic is a one-man wall. This is a long way out. Maddison whips it in. That's a great ball right across the face of goal. No one gets a touch. Indeed, he was closest, and the ball is behind for a goal kick. His set-piece delivery, a bit like Ward-Prowse at Southampton, Pat, is delicious.
But that's 2 fantastic ones, but that's the best of them all, and you've got to go and hammer in and get that. And if you're the striker, particularly Jamie Vardy, you're thinking, why am I not chasing in? Well, oddly enough, Jamie Vardy was standing on the 18-yard line, not chasing in, but it was indeed he wasn't who got closest.
So 7 minutes remaining. Australia 3 down at Lords. Ball by ball commentary with the Test match special team on 5 Live Sports Extra. Australia chasing a total of 267 to win. They are 49 for 3. I'm hearing Ellie Oldroyd will keep us updated. Chelsea leading Leicester 1-0. Ricardo really trying to fashion a precise pass down the right hand touchline, couldn't find Perez. Emerson has done well to work a pass to Pulisic. He's surrounded here by 3 pink shirts. Emerson helps out, comes in with the challenge, awkward for Ndidi, bouncing ball, and he just goes back to his goalkeeper Kasper Schmeichel. Mason Mount's goal came very early in the game and was taken when Ndidi was caught dawdling in front of the penalty area. The tackle was by Mount, he ran on into the box and he finished it brilliantly.
He did, and it could have been the 4th goal of the game that early, because Chelsea had actually created that many chances, and then for about 10 minutes after that they kept on creating chances and getting into great positions, and maybe for about 20 minutes and it has calmed down a little bit. It's a much more normal looking game and it's not as one-sided as it was before. I asked the question, how long would Chelsea be able to keep that pace up for? Well, it was 20 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, just taking a little breather in the second half of this half, but in control of the game at the moment. Johnny Evans on the ball for Leicester, inside his own half. This shade, as the sun moves up above us, is just slowly spreading its way further and further across the pitch towards us. Fuchs just had no options to go forward there. He's frustrated and with his right foot swings a pass back to Schmeichel. Schmeichel into the feet of Johnny Evans. Evans with his right foot, he's a good passer of the ball, and that is a prime example. Finds Fuchs on the left hand side, curls a poor pass infield, it's behind Tielemans, it runs to Pulisic, just seemed in 2 minds for a second there, he's held on to it and then plays a rather loose pass back into his own penalty area. Kepa is able to deal with it. Emerson's going to try and dribble from the left back position here, got to be careful, clears up the left hand touchline. Ricardo volleys it back into the Chelsea half, and Mason Mount thought about going back to Kepa, decided it was too risky, has given the ball away to Ricardo. Quickly on to Ndidi, wants an option to his left. Where's Maddison gone? Maddison's drifted over to the right. Perez had stayed there, so he didn't have an option on the left. Here's Evans on the halfway line. 5 minutes left in the first half, with Chelsea leading Leicester 1-0. Perez lays off to Ricardo, better from Leicester this, and Ndidi 40 yards from goal, floats one towards Chowdhury, who's got the aerial advantage. He doesn't jump though, he lets Azpilicueta win the header. Fuchs has lost it, Conte's there, and Soyuncu had to get there first. He does so, and he hoofs the ball out for a Chelsea throw.
Yeah, just a few minutes there where, the likes of Pulisic and Mason Mount giving the ball away. That wasn't happening for the first 20-25 minutes. It was zipping about the ball about with utter confidence at incredible speed, and it's kind of stopped from Chelsea just now. And I'm sure Frank Lampard, when he gets them in at half time, will say, look, get back to doing that again. They couldn't live with you when you were doing that. And I think Leicester will know that that's the case, know that they can get little chances, and just that cross ball just in between the centre backs and the goalkeeper, that would have lifted them as well. They're not out of this game, this tie definitely not finished.
Mason Mount under pressure, loses it to Ayoze Perez on the right. Quick ball infield to Chowdhury. Look who's there, N'Golo Conte. Perfectly timed tackle. Chowdhury on his feet again, has it for Leicester, gives it to Perez. He was too slow. Mason Mount's in there, makes the tackle, clears the ball with his left foot. Johnny Evans hoists it forward. Underneath it is Emerson. Chest control, the ball just ran away from him. Gave the Leicester player a sniff who couldn't get there. Fuchs' pass inadvertently finds Vardy, and Vardy wasn't expecting. He was coming back from the offside position. So Chelsea get the free kick. 3 minutes remaining in the first half. Someone said to me earlier in the week, Pat, that what Frank Lampard needs up front is a cross between Giroud and Abraham. Abraham's mobility and Giroud's ability to hold the ball up.
And no, Chelsea have had that problem for quite a long time. The centre forward is the perfect one. Most of them have been pretty good at one thing but not so good at another thing, and that's why they have struggled in certain areas and not getting up to the levels they want to get beside the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool. And that is the one area everyone keeps on asking the question, who's going to score that amount of goals for Chelsea? I don't think there is anyone who's going to do that, but it's even this game is very noticeable that Kepa came out a wee bit unnecessarily
little
there.
Header from the edge of the box. He was a little bit too far forward. Perez was chasing the pass, and Kepa, had he not been so far forward, could have let that bounce and grabbed it with both hands and had to head it away. Leicester get a throw. Closing stages of the first half. Perez with a touch on his chest. Ricardo goes past him, he gives him the ball, manages to get his cross in. Christensen read that well, heads it away powerfully at the near post. Throw in for Leicester.
You can hear from the Leicester fans now, they're beginning to realise now, wait a minute, half a chance here, by the way. Just that final thing. Chelsea do need somebody with a little bit of pace through the middle, but that's why they used to try putting, Hazard through the middle sometimes. They would sometimes try, even Pedro coming off that wing into that wide area sometimes. And maybe that's going to be the answer for them in the medium term between now and the end of the season. If they can get those two wide players to go and do that, diagonal run in towards the centre forward there, that's where they can develop that pace. Because although Olivier Giroud will work hard, he's not lightning quick.
No. Ball dropping down on the edge of the Chelsea box. Christensen and Zuma both have played well so far for Chelsea. Christensen read that well, cleared it with his right foot. Johnny Evans on it for Leicester inside his own half. This one's in behind Zuma. He's aware that Vardy's behind him. He looked over his left shoulder twice there, got to the ball first and clears it with his left foot. Rudiger not amongst the substitutes. Willian is today. Kovacic is on the bench. Tammy Abraham's on the bench. Ross Barkley's on the bench. Marcus Alonso. And the centre-back on the bench actually is Fikayo Tomori.
Who Frank Lampard absolutely trusts. Rudiger's a fantastic player, and I'm sure he will be back in the first team as soon as he's fully fit. But I don't think Frank seems over worried about that.
Now Leicester have won a corner late in the first half, and Pulisic is down hurt. Cross came in pacily from the right hand side and it's hit Pulisic, and Pulisic has gone down in some pain. So a Leicester corner to come.
This is going to sound really quite horrible. I'm trying to be as delicate as possible. No, it is his foot. Sometimes when it hits a foot in that sort of angle, it damages your tendons.
Right.
It's an odd way that it can do that, and it's one of those ones for 10-20 seconds you don't know if that's really serious or just ouch and I'll be fine. It looks like ouch and I'll be fine.
Yeah, he's okay, Pat, but you're right, he sort of dangled his leg to block it. His leg wasn't taut, it was quite loose, and the ball has hit that hard, so he's okay. Corner for Leicester. Maddison, oh dear, low one straight to N'Golo Kanté. There was obviously a plan there, it's not worked.
What were you saying about his delivery?
Yeah. Whoa, now then, Ricardo, that is a loose back pass to Schmeichel. Schmeichel has to turn on his heel quickly from the edge of his box, go back to the byline and clear it with his right foot. Had that actually been heading towards the goal, Schmeichel really would have had a job to keep it out of the back of the net. Chelsea 1, Leicester 0. Loose from Leicester at the end of the first half. Here come Chelsea. Pulisic's cross takes a deflection. Late corner for Chelsea now.
How often have you seen that in games where just a stupid thing like that happens? Chelsea are beginning to feel a little bit of the pressure there. Silly back pass. Chelsea managed to get everybody up the pitch. Tails are up again. If they lose a goal here, it's not come directly from that back pass, but it has changed the feeling around the ground and with the Chelsea players.
Mason Mount warmly applauded as he heads towards the corner flag on the right hand side, shed end of the ground, just stamps the turf down by the ball with his left foot, takes 3 deliberate paces back and then curls the corner in with his right foot. An away swinger to the far post, drops down on the edge of the box. Jorginho hits it. It's high and it's wide and it's behind for the goal kick, and Oliver Langford blows the half-time whistle at Stamford Bridge. So Chelsea, in Frank Lampard's first competitive home game in charge, came absolutely flying out of the blocks, playing some lovely stuff as well. Mason Mount got the start again today, has scored the goal. Leicester coming back into it, Pat, in the sort of last 20 minutes of that first half.
Yeah, coming back into it, but it's two things. It's they come into it, and Chelsea, they didn't take their foot off the gas. What they did is they couldn't keep up that pace that they'd started the game with, but it was an extraordinary pace. They started it, not just the running, but the closing down, and the zippiness of the passing was absolutely incredible, with great intelligence in the way they were attacking as well. They weren't able to keep that up for the entire half, but I think there's probably another spark at the start of the second half that they can do exactly the same again. It's been a really good start to the game, but headlines upon headlines for Mason Mount if he can keep this up.
I was just going to say, I've got a feeling Sam Quek and Robbie Savage may be taking a few calls from Chelsea fans waxing lyrical about young Mason Mount. He has the goal that separates the two teams at half-time. It is Chelsea 1, Leicester 0.
And maybe, Pat Nevin, we're seeing one of the building blocks of Frank Lampard's Chelsea, because it's the third game in a row where they've come flying out of the blocks. The difference this time is instead of hitting the post, they hit the back of the net.
That's a very, very good point indeed. Wish I'd have made it. No, but it is, and that's the way he wants them to play. All you had to do is look at Frank Lampard as a player. That's how he played. He tried to play in the last third all the time. He's known as a midfielder, an 8 who attacked, but he was attack-minded midfielder, so he wants his team to be like that as well. And if you do start, any pro will tell you, if you go into a game and you want to just get into the first 5, 10, 15 minutes, you find yourself a goal down. the vast majority of the time you don't get back. So he wants to make those first 15, 20 minutes count. They hadn't in those other games. They did in this game, and they almost counted with bells on it as well, because it's one goal that quite easily could have been 3 or 4. And the other building block, you're talking building blocks, Mason Mount. I mean, keep on talking about the young players coming through. And you're wondering before the start of the season, Hazard, this is a real problem, not able to spend 50 or 60 million pound on a player that everybody else did. And then you look at it and think, actually, looks quite good down there just now. And they've got Hudson-Odoi to come back, and they've got Ruben Loftus-Cheek to come back. I think Chelsea fans have every right to be happy for the moment.
Yeah, exactly. A very, very excited Stamford Bridge. Chelsea won, Leicester City 0 half-time in Frank Lampard's first home Premier League game. In charge, more from Pat and Ali shortly. And of course, we'll be back for full second half commentary on 5 Live Premier League Sunday. We've already seen Sheffield United beat Crystal Palace by 1-0. We'll get the latest from Lords after the news on 5 Live with Helen Place.
On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Michael Gove has dismissed a leaked document warning of shortages of food and medicine if the UK leaves the EU with no deal. The minister in charge of planning for a no-deal Brexit says it's out of date and only ever applied to a worst-case scenario.
It is the case, as everyone knows, that if we do have a no-deal exit, there will inevitably be some disruption, some bumps in the road. That's why we want a deal. But it is also the case that the UK government is far more prepared now than it was in the past. And it's also important for people to recognise that what's been described in these documents is emphatically a worst-case scenario.
Rescue teams are using sonar equipment in their search for a 6-year-old boy who fell into the River Stour in Kent. Lucas Dobson was out fishing yesterday afternoon when it happened. More than 100,000 pro-democracy demonstrators are holding a peaceful rally in central Hong Kong. Police have authorised the demonstration but banned any marches. Our China correspondent Stephen McDonnell is there.
Underground train stations have had to close because they were just jammed with people trying to reach the rally point. And roads here also have been blocked. I mean, people have had to go off walking using the road to leave because public transport had to shut down.
A 28-year-old woman's died after the car she was in crashed while it was being chased by police in Birmingham last night. A 34-year-old man's assisting officers with their inquiries. The electricity supplier SSE says a power cut in Oxfordshire this morning was probably linked to the demolition of 3 cooling towers. The structures at the Didcot A power station were brought down in a controlled explosion. And Championship Rugby League side Batley Bulldogs say they're greatly saddened by the death of scrum half Archie Bruce. The 20-year-old who made his club debut in Toulouse last night was found dead in his hotel room this morning.
5 Live Sports.
The Premier League is back, and right now on BBC Sounds you can hear the Football Daily podcast.
He is a world superstar. I mean, he's potentially one of the best players in the world.
Right footed, glorious goal! We've got the latest news, analysis and big name guests as we usher in a brand new season and special episodes from inside some of the Premier League's biggest clubs.
We have to stay the team who nobody wants to play against.
I was just thinking in my head, just please, you've got to score the winner.
I don't mind trying a few dance moves here and there.
Football Daily. Listen now on BBC Sounds.
More live Premier League football than anyone else.
5 Live's Premier League Sunday.
Welcome back to 5 Live Premier League Sunday with me, Steve Crossman. Half-time in our second commentary game of the afternoon. It's Chelsea 1, Leicester City 0. I can see Claude Makelele just being interviewed on the pitch at Stamford Bridge. But we are going to Lords. Ellie Oldroyd, Mark Ramprakash. Can we put a percentage chance on this for England getting over the line?
I think I'm putting it as an 89.5% chance of a draw at the moment. Mark Ramprakash, I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. It's I think I'm just looking in the distance as well. I mean, it's a little bit dark over the back there. We're from where the weather comes from the west. So England up against it. The floodlights are already on here actually at Lords, and just trying to make things a little brighter. So they haven't got a lot of time really to force the issue.
Yeah, let's just reflect on the situation of the game at the moment. 62 for 3, so Australia need another 205 runs. We can rule them out of the equation. That's not going to happen. 7 wickets remaining. That's what England would have to do, you know, with Jofra Archer and Jack Leach and Chris Wokes still there, and Ben Stokes, who's already a hero with 115, which has put England in this position where they can almost feel a little bit more relaxed and a bit more comfortable, because it was in the balance. It was touch and go really until he scored those runs. But they have bowling options.
Well, I think Joe Root may have had a sleepless night actually with his team. He would have been a little bit on edge, 4 wickets down. But actually Joss Buttler and Ben Stokes came out today and played beautifully. They did a really professional job. They played each ball on its merits. They built a partnership in a pretty sort of low risk fashion, and got themselves to lunch unscathed. And then Ben Stokes growing in confidence all the time, having spent time at the wicket, and we saw him evolve into some more aggressive shots, slog sweeping Nathan Lyon twice into the tavern stand, huge blows from him, and accelerating in the team's cause really to try and get quick runs to try and set up this declaration. So Ben Stokes, star of the day so far with his 100, and England will be well pleased with the way they went about their batting effort.
The other main story of the day was the confirmation that we had earlier on that Steve Smith did suffer a mild concussion when he was hit on the head by Jofra Archer yesterday. Woke up this morning feeling a bit headachy, a bit groggy, and had the concussion assessments that he'd had yesterday, which were repeated today, and it showed that his condition had deteriorated overnight, which we know can happen with concussion. You can be worse 24 hours to 48 hours after the incident itself. And we really will have to wait and see whether he's going to be playing at Headingley. But it's probably unlikely, you would have thought.
Yeah, I think is it expected for someone who's hit on the head to feel a little bit worse the following day. I thought he was very, very brave in the way that he came back out to bat for his team. And it's not something that you don't often see in cricket nowadays, that sort of bravery. But yes, his welfare is first and foremost the most important thing for Australia. I think they've psychologically got to get used to the idea they may be without him, and that's
this could be a dress rehearsal out here right now.
And if he is fit, it's a bonus for Australia.
We saw another batting failure by David Warner, who has scores of 2, 8, 3 and 5 in this Ashes series so far, and Marnus Labuschagne, who is a concussion replacement for Steve Smith. First time it's happened in international cricket that we've had a player who's been able to come out and replace a player who is out specifically for concussion. If Steve Smith had been out because of his arm problem, he wouldn't have had the option of having a concussion replacement, but obviously because it's a head injury he does. But Marnus Labuschagne welcomed to one day to Ashes cricket with a bouncer from Jofra Archer, which hit him on the grill of the helmet. So Jofra Archer was not holding back at all.
Yeah, he let fly, and as all great fast bowlers do, they look to get on top psychologically and physically. And mind you, having said that, Labuschagne has recovered brilliantly. He has managed to sort of calm himself down. He took his time with his helmet getting replaced, and he's actually building quite a nice partnership. He's 25 not out, and actually probably enjoying batting at the home of cricket.
63 for 3 is the score at the moment, so there's a minimum of 28 overs remaining. If we get to the point where there are 15 overs remaining, Steve, then the umpires can look at it and say, are we going to get a result or not? And if they decide that we can't, then they will shake hands and say that's a draw. But at the moment, 28 overs left and the target 267.
Yeah, England need more wickets if they're going to get the extra time. Ellie, Mark, thank you very much. Test Match Special, Sports Extra, right now if you want to hear live commentary of the conclusion of the final day of the second Ashes Test. It's 5 Live Premier League Sunday. In our earlier game, Sheffield United beat Crystal Palace 1-0 at 1-0 at Bramall Lane, their first Premier League home game for 12 years. Afterwards, Gary Flintoff spoke to Blades boss Chris Wilder.
It was an amazing experience, but we had to make sure that we got the right result for us. So all my focus was getting the players prepared to put a positive performance in. I knew what was coming. I knew what our supporters would have been like. We're going to be like, and they didn't disappoint. And I think obviously you'll talk about the game and talk about the players, but I think this is a day for our supporters really, because they've been to some weird and wonderful places over the last decade, and possibly this was a million miles away from what they maybe thought was achievable, but they've stuck with us, and we've got a team out there that they're proud of, and they've really driven us over the winning line today, and I thought it was amazing experience and amazing atmosphere to be involved in.
That's Chris Wilder. Unsurprisingly, the Palace manager Roy Hodgson was pretty unimpressed.
Roy, what did you make of that performance today?
Not very much. I think second half in particular, I don't think we played anywhere near as well as I was expecting us to play. We didn't create the goal chances that we would have needed, having gone a goal down so early in the second half. In the first half, I thought we were reasonably comfortable. I didn't think we looked in any great difficulties. We were dealing with the Sheffield United threat quite well, and we were posing a few questions of our own at the other end. But after the 1-0, I'm afraid they defended their lead very, very well, and we didn't play well enough to ask those questions and to get those goal-scoring chances. In fact, I don't think we had a shot at goal in the second half, which is, of course, nowhere near good enough when you've gone 1-0 down in the 47th minute.
How surprising is that, considering the amount of attacking quality you have in your squad?
Well, attacking players, we didn't show the quality today. I mean, the fact is you can't keep talking about attacking quality. Unfortunately, in the game, the players were not capable of showing that quality. So I don't know about if it's surprising or not that we're dealing with human beings. We're not dealing with robots. Players don't always play as well as they'd like to play. These things happen. And unfortunately for us, Crystal Palace today, that's what we've suffered from.
A couple of other scores for you. It finished Reading 3, Cardiff City 0 in the Championship. In the Scottish League Cup, Rangers beat East Fife 3-0 away from home. Dying embers of extra time being played at Dundee. Dundee 1, Aberdeen 2. So after us on 5 Live Premier League Sunday at 6:30, it'll be Robbie Savage and Sam Quett with 606. I don't think you're going to be shy of talking points today.
No, definitely not. But thanks, Steve. We'll be taking calls at 6:30pm. 08085 909 693 is the number. So give us a buzz. Plenty to talk about, Robbie. And we'll probably start off at the Stamford Bridge. Still a second half to play, but Chelsea off the mark quick this week.
Yeah, Mason Mount, who got criticised in some quarters for his performance at Old Trafford wrongly. He scored a goal in the Super Cup, which was ruled out. What a finish. Another great finish today. Pressed the ball high. And Super Frank's side have got off to a good start. You know, can they keep it? Somebody phoned 606 last week, Sam, and said Frank Lampard didn't know Chelsea. What an absolute load of nonsense. Ring back tonight, Mike.
I was going to say, Mike, get back in touch. We'd love to see your opinion after the midweek performance and also this game today. Also, Robbie, VAR, I know you bang on about it. The rules are the rules, but this is getting ridiculous. After last night at the Etihad.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Piers Morgan's tweet. VAR is sucking all the life, excitement and unpredictability out of football. Fans are beginning to hate it. If you agree with Piers Morgan, give us a ring.
I know, but what are the other options, eh?
Laws are laws, Sam. It's not the VAR fault. It is the lawmakers.
Well, those of you who have got opinions, who do have ideas, give us a call. 08085 909 693. Sheffield United fans will be buzzing today as well, won't they?
Great win for Chris Wilder. What a manager, what a team. Togetherness, brilliant. Sheffield United could stay up.
Well, there we go. Plenty to talk about. So, yeah, get in touch. Steve, even if you want to ring up, join in. Join in.
Steve, no.
What's wrong with me?
Well, nothing much.
Robbie's gone. Thanks, Sam. Sam and Robbie will be back with you for 6:06 after we're done here on Premier League Sunday. Let's go back then to Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 1, Leicester City 0. All of the cameras focusing in on young Mason Mount, whose goal makes the difference so far. Your commentary team, Pat Nevin and Ali Bruce Ball.
By the way, Steve, as you know, if 6:06 had been on at 10 o'clock this morning, I definitely would have called in because I called you because I needed someone to talk to about the new handball law. So I might call in this evening to Robbie and Sam. 08085 909 693 follows us here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 1, Leicester 0. Chelsea in all blue, apart from the white socks, playing from left to right, defending the shed end in this second half, leading through the 7th minute goal from Mason Mount. And Leicester in pink this afternoon, pink shirts, black shorts, pink socks, playing from left to right in this second half. James Maddison does well to turn Azpilicueta, looking for Vardy. Christensen read the ball, sticks a leg out and knocks it out for a Leicester throw on the left.
It's a great test for Christensen and Zuma, a partnership that's just beginning to grow together. To get someone like Jamie Vardy, his movement is fantastic. I mean, it's almost if you go and learn how to be a centre forward, what you do is you watch Jamie Vardy and watch his movement and his running.
Christian Fuchs is in for the injured Ben Chilwell. Just got slightly chillier actually at the start of this second half. Sunshine has disappeared. We're moving into the evening in West London. Chelsea have won a throw in the right back position. It's the stat that always strikes you, always gets mentioned actually, Pat, on Vardy. So in games against the Big Six in inverted commas, his record against them since I think it's the last 5 seasons, since start of 2014-15, more goals than anyone else, 31 goals against the big boys.
Yeah.
Here he goes. Ball over the top, might reach him. No, Maddison. Oh, he slipped there as he was trying to hit the half volley on the edge of the box. Chelsea can clear.
But there's just moments, aren't there? I mean, Jamie Vardy's almost through there again. Oh, here goes Giroud.
Yeah, offside. Has to be. Yeah, I thought the flag was going to go up. It does. Giroud was played clean through.
Would you not let that play on?
Well,
would you not, just in case it, the assistant referee gets it wrong? I mean, they probably got it right, but
the interesting thing, though, Pat, with the way that they are using VAR in the Premier League this season, they are asking the linesman to flag, but the referees to hold the whistle. So if the referee hadn't blown the whistle there, Giroud would have been in his rights to keep going, try and score, and then they would have looked at it.
Yeah, I'm watching our monitors to see if there's any replay of it. If it was questionable, I think we would have seen one by now.
That was the game we enjoyed playing during the Women's World Cup. Pat and I did 3 commentaries together, and Pat instigated this game. When it goes to VAR, you as the commentary team have to decide what decision they are going to make.
Yeah, by the way, before we see the replay.
Absolutely, exactly, without the knowledge. Here's Maddison, 30 yards out, outside of his right foot. Vardy's offside. Flag goes up, whistle doesn't blow, he shoots. Kepa saves it, the ball's still in play. Perez slips, and then Oliver Langford blows the whistle after Vardy's had the shot. So there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for cleaning that up for his referee, because that's what we were talking about, and he got it right. And that one was quite clearly offside. I mean, a good 2 yards. I mean, not even a vague question about that.
I think, Pat, and we were talking about this on last night's 606, is that they are really trying to, at the start of this season, trust the officials on the field as much as they can. The VARs are backing the on-field decisions as much as they can. Getting the linesmen to lift their flags and continue doing the job they were doing is trying to maintain, I think, our faith in the officials on the field.
And the most important thing for me, I mean, here Robbie being very positive about VAR, have a think about how many VAR decisions that have been this season so far, and they've got probably all of them correct, and probably 50% of them would have then not been correct.
Good point.
Basically the job it was asked to do. It is doing.
Yep. 08085 909 693 if you want to talk about that this evening after this game. 3 minutes gone in the second half. Chelsea leading Leicester 1-0. Kepa in goal for Chelsea. At Spilicueta, Christensen, Zuma and Emerson the back four. Jorginho, Conte and Mason Mount the goal scorer, with Mason Mount the furthest forward in that midfield three. Pedro and Pulisic on the flanks, with Olivier Giroud through the middle. Schmeichel in goal for Leicester. Ricardo right back, Christian Fuchs left back, Evans and Soyuncu the centre back pairing, Ndidi in front of that back four, Tielemans and Chowdhury ahead of him, Ayoze Perez and James Maddison in support of Jamie Vardy. Throw in for Chelsea on the right. Just a slight lull in the game at the start of the second half. Conte is trying to get away from Chowdhury, misplaces his pass. Evans intercepts with a good ball forward to Tielemans. Perez now has Maddison in loads of space. Maddison thinks about the shot. Conte's there with the tackle, runs to Maddison, takes it round Kepa. Kepa dives at his feet, he's beaten him, lays it back, and then it's cleared away inside the penalty area by Mason Mount. Shot comes in from a long way out, and Fuchs blazes it over the crossbar behind for the goal kick. But that was good chance for Leicester.
Well, you're looking at it now, and Leicester getting into great positions. A little chance there, brilliant tackle in the midst of this by N'Golo Kante that managed to send Maddison wide, but it's just unlucky when he made the cut back there. But you're beginning to see more opportunities now. Kepa was caught on the ball beforehand. The little chances where the ball's not quite getting through to Jamie Vardy, and he's getting into those positions. That wasn't just happening from the start of the second half. That was happening in the last 15 minutes of the first half as well. So they definitely will be lifted just now, Leicester. And you're looking down at Frank Lampard thinking, Frank, do you need to change something now?
Leicester were blitzed at the start of this game in the first 10 minutes. Chelsea could have scored 2 or 3, and then, as we were saying, second half of the first half, they couldn't keep the pace up. Leicester have come back into the game, and there's still only the goal in it. Here's Pulisic on the left, tackled by Ricardo. Short ball up the right-hand touchline, back to Ricardo, into Perez. Here's Chowdhury, slightly scuffs his pass into the turf, and Maddison can't control it. Wasn't the best ball to him. Christensen under pressure. Chowdhury this time too strong for Conte, but Chelsea have it back. Pedro on the halfway line, mounts in acres of space on the left-hand side. Pulisic's seen him now, and here he is in his bright yellow boots running at Ricardo. He decides to come back into midfield and find Jorginho. Wide again to Mount. Emerson trotting up slowly behind him, just moves into position on the left wing for Chelsea. Mount and Emerson exchange passes, and the ball's hacked away by Ricardo. And here's Zuma, who was suddenly thinking about switching it quickly, decided against that, and comes all the way back to Chelsea's keeper, Kepa.
Do you know, the midfield's livelier now from Leicester than it is from Chelsea's midfield. So, you know, all the questions being asked by Brendan Rodgers' men at the moment.
6 minutes gone, second half. Emerson bringing the ball in field. Jorginho got the shout there from the Chelsea fans of man on. He got rid of it. Indeed, he's given it away. He wasn't really looking there. Has knocked it straight out of play. Scottish League Cup draw has just been made. Rangers 3-0 winners at East Fife, and Aberdeen have won that tie after extra time against Dundee today. So Celtic play Partick.
Glasgow Derby.
Kilmarnock Hibs. Hearts Aberdeen. Livingston against Rangers. Ties to be played between the 24th and the 26th of September. Chelsea building play down the left. Pulisic on the turn, edge of the area, rolls a pass into Pedro, quickly on to Azpilicueta. Left-footed ball, not ideal, closed down by Fuchs. Fuchs runs beyond it. Conte read the bounce, lets it bounce, takes it off him, and plays it here to Jorginho on his left. Chelsea 1, Leicester 0. Nice pass from Jorginho. Finds Pulisic, bit of space for him. Running at that Leicester defence, just stops on the edge of the area, gives it to Pedro. Pedro's pass is intercepted. Tielemans clears with his right foot, only as far as Zuma. So the Chelsea pressure is just building here over the last couple of minutes. Emerson's ball in, Giroud with the header, straight at Schmeichel, who makes the save and slings it out underarm to Christian Fuchs. Now that's a poor pass from Fuchs. He's given it away to Conte. Frank Lampard is screaming something across the field. Chelsea 1, Leicester 0. Quickly to Lords, Ellie Oldroyd.
77 for 3, Australia at the moment, so they are chasing that total of 267 to win, and they've got 26 overs left at the moment, and England need to start taking some wickets if they're going to extend this into the final hour and give themselves a chance of winning, but they probably need to rotate their bowlers. Haven't seen much of Wokes, haven't seen anything of Stokes in this Australian second innings yet. 77 for 3 is the Australian score at the moment, chasing 267 to win.
Thanks, Ellie. Ball by ball commentary over on 5 Live Sports Extra as that dramatic test match draws to a close. Updates from Ellie throughout this game and into 6:06 this evening after us. Leicester coming again down the right with Ricardo. Support from Jose Perez just inside him. Comes back to Tielemans. Tielemans to Ndidi. Ndidi with the diagonal crossfield to the left. Giroud is back there doing the defending very quickly on top of Fuchs, who had to come back. Oh, Chelsea player down. Is that Pedro?
Yes.
Pedro is down on the edge of the Leicester box. Schmeichel is saying let's stop. Leicester continue to play. It's not a head injury. Ricardo has it on the right. Finds Tielemans. Onside. Low ball in. Corner for Leicester. And loud boos from the Chelsea fans because they feel the game should have been stopped for the injury to Pedro.
Sadly, they're wrong. The game should not have been stopped. I mean, it's up to the referee to stop the game. Wasn't a head injury. It's painful. It doesn't look as if it's a horrendous one. So just get on with it until you get a chance to stop the play. No reason why Leicester should put the ball out. They haven't put it out. They did the right thing. They've got a corner kick.
Wolves, Manchester United. Premier League action tomorrow night. Full commentary here on 5 Live. Mark Chapman ahead of the game, back with the Monday Night Club. Arlo White doing the commentary with Chris Sutton. And we'll have Premier League football for you next Friday night as well. So when that next round of games start, we're into a Friday night kickoff. Aston Villa against Everton. And I will be doing the game alongside Karen Carney of Chelsea. So looking forward to that one. Darren Fletcher presenting the show from Villa Park. Our double header on Sunday. Bournemouth, Manchester City next week at 2 o'clock. Tottenham, Newcastle at 4:30. You're not missing any action because Pedro is still down receiving treatment. He's in some pain, Pat, because he's thumping the turf in anguish.
It's one of those weird ones. There didn't seem a great deal in it. He just clipped. You know, it wasn't deliberate either. So, you know, whether he's tweaked his knee as he's gone down, and if that's the case, then Willian might be called on. He's warming up there down below us.
By the way, Pat, talking about great Chelsea players like Karen Carney who finished playing, Ashley Cole announced his retirement today. What a player he was, not just for Chelsea, obviously.
Yeah, for Arsenal, for England, and he kept on going, you know, and he's fabulous considering, you know, you stand beside him sometimes and you realise how small he is. He's actually really small for a full-back, and he's smaller than I am, but it's extraordinary the amount of energy he had, willingness to get forward, and he had an absolutely brilliant career. And I think his time with Chelsea, we will find it will not be finished.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because in the statement today, focusing on coaching, getting the badges, has worked under Frank Lampard last season, so that is you can see that definitely, and I know, Pat, you would know more than me. Actually, I was looking, 107 caps he won for England, one more than Frank Lampard, who won 106. But the two of them did rather well for Chelsea together, and Ashley Cole still the man who's won the most FA Cups as a player, 7 of them for Arsenal and Chelsea. Maddison with the corner for Leicester. Pedro's waiting to come back on. Deep to Chowdhury, who wins the header. Indeed, he comes through a load of bodies to get it for Leicester. Chowdhury, edge of the box with the colour, took a touch, and Kepa just grabs it and sort of snaffles it into his midriff and makes the save for Chelsea.
Well, you just look at it now, 56 minutes. Pedro's got a little bit of an injury, to see if he's going to carry on. This is when you ask the questions of managers at a very top level. Brendan Rodgers has got a huge amount of experience, and he knows that the game's now going in his favour. His team has taken control of the midfield and various parts of it. Now, if that wasn't the case, he would be making changes just now, because he's had that experience behind him. Frank, for all his wonderful experience as a player, hasn't got that all behind him. And you look at it now and you begin to think, probably need to make a 1 or 2 changes now for Chelsea, be it personnel. And I would suggest probably Pulisic at the moment is looking, he's hardly had an effect in this game for 20-25 minutes. He's still capable of doing it though.
Soyuncu finds Fuchs on the left. Fuchs' pass well controlled by Maddison into the Chelsea penalty area, onto the right foot, twists onto his left, hits that hard across the face of goal. Went for power there, didn't quite get it right, and has dragged it wide. But definitely in this second half, there's a real threat from Leicester, actually.
Well, the buzz is coming from the Leicester fans down here just now, so you can tell that the feeling is that they've began to take complete control of the game. Chelsea are really off it. The question remains, you look how much control and how well Chelsea played for the first quarter of the match, and you look at them now and think, well, who would you take off?
Yeah.
Actually, there's about 3, 4, 5 there. You think, you wouldn't be surprised if Frank said he's running out of gas, about an hour gone, need to add something more, particularly in that midfield area.
Pulisic jumps with Giroud, the pair of them going for a header. It came off Giroud, and it's out for a Leicester throw on the right. 13 minutes gone in the second half. 6:06 on the way. Lines are open. Sam Quek and Robbie Savage taking the calls tonight. 08 085 909 693. And for your Premier League highlights this evening, match of the day is on at 10:30. Fuchs inside his own half to Ndidi. Quick pass forward from Ricardo. Back to Ndidi. Beautifully worked. Maddison thought Vardy might be offside. Held on to it. Slides a pass low to his right and finds Perez. Perez infield to Tielemans. Tielemans takes his time. Back to Perez on the right. Ricardo comes flying forward past Perez. Emerson is there to block, and sure, he was tugged back. Yep, tugged back by Ricardo. Free kick for Leicester. Nice move.
When you look at it just now, you're spending all your time down looking at our left-hand side here. Leicester playing very, very well now, getting into good positions, making half chances now, and you've got to think Chelsea must make some sort of a change to get some sort of foothold back in this game. They've had nothing really for certainly the last 10 minutes of the first half, and as I finish that sentence...
Well, the change, but it'd be interesting to see who comes off here. Tammy Abraham.
Oh, it's got to be Giroud, surely.
Right. Abraham for Giroud. Giroud is trying to control a ball here. He probably realises it's going to be him, so desperately trying to get involved just before he leaves the field, putting pressure on Schmeichel. Soyuncu infield to Fuchs, to Hamza Chowdhury, 21-year-old, product of the Leicester Academy, now a regular first-team figure, unmistakable figure as well, with the really big black bushy hair. Pedro with the jet black slick back hairs lost the ball, and Maddison with the outside of his right foot was looking for Perez. The pass is cut out and it's behind for a corner. It's all Leicester at the moment.
Complete control of the game. Tammy Abraham will not come on just now, obviously a corner kick against. Giroud's really good defensively in those sort of areas as well with the head, but it's one-way traffic now, one-way traffic for Leicester.
When Tammy Abraham comes on, Pat, I'm convinced he will get a rapturous reception to back him a little bit, obviously for the missed penalty in the week, but also some of the horrible abuse he took online.
Stupid, ignorant tweets that were put out online, and delighted he will get behind him.
Maddison with the corner to the far post, headed clear. Tielemans underneath it, chests it down, hits it with his left foot, optimistic, and smashes it into the second tier of the shed end away to our left hand side. So Tammy Abraham is waiting to come on. Started last week at Old Trafford, hit that shot early on that came pinging back off the post. Giroud comes off, so different thing for Leicester's defenders to deal with, the two centre-backs now, Pat, isn't it, in terms of Giroud, the brawn and the muscle and the knocking you about. A bit more mobility from Abraham.
Yeah, and probably a more natural scorer. And listen to that reaction. Delighted to hear that reaction. Of course, we will hear, the online stuff from a very small one, they're complete and utter losers. However, that's what the majority feel about Tammy.
Yeah. Abraham trying to get involved straight away. Chelsea as a club very quickly condemned it as well. Maddison goes sliding in, took the ball first, then caught a bit of Jorginho. Poor pass from Pedro to Mount, he couldn't get that. Ricardo, who is really quick, goes flying past Mount. Mount's back at him, good defending. Stuck at it and stuck a foot in just as Ricardo was about to play the pass. Emerson now powering forward down the left. Abraham gets the ball, he turns. Few options to his right. Azpilicueta, the skipper, is one of them. 16 minutes gone in the second half. Chelsea leading 1-0. Ball towards... Well, it hits Soyuncu on the shoulder. Big shout for a penalty from the Chelsea fans. Pulisic does well to keep it in play wide on the right. Soyuncu tackles him and then very cleverly scoops a pass away with his right foot. Chowdhury towards Vardy. Vardy being knocked about by Christensen. Good defending. Emerson for Chelsea, just inside the Leicester half. To and fro, end to end at the moment. He's fouled. Chelsea have a free kick.
But it has given a lift. I mean, a couple of minutes before Frank Lampard made the change, I was saying, look, he's got to do something about it. He has done some, and it has lifted the stadium a bit, and it has lifted the Chelsea players a bit, and it's a slightly more even game for a minute or two. Whether Chelsea actually can keep that going or not, we shall see. I'm going to say a phrase now, which I'm not convinced I've actually said before in commentary.
Really? Well, this is interesting.
N'Golo Kante looks a bit tired.
Well,
I don't think I've ever said that before.
First time for everything. Didn't start the first Premier League game of the season because of fitness concerns. I mean, he was his usual effervescent self in Istanbul in midweek. Mount with the free kick, headed forward by Azpilicueta. Abraham trying to get on the end of it, but it's in the arms of Schmeichel, who comes bouncing out to the edge of his box and then drills a sidewinder 80 yards downfield, controlled immediately by Perez, into the feet of Vardy, back to Perez, who has to stretch and control the pass, was slightly behind him, looking for Vardy, and Kepa's down and grabs it with both hands. That was one of those where Vardy just wanted to get a touch on the ball, go round Kepa and hope he got caught.
That's what I was saying right at the start of the game. Everybody knows it. He will continue to make those runs. He will not get frustrated. He will do it 20 times, 25 times, and will do them all at full pace, hoping to get in the end of one. He's getting closer and closer and closer. By the way, the first ball there in that break from Kasper Schmeichel, super.
It was. Right, here's N'Golo Kante. Running on empty, but charging forward for Chelsea. Lays it off to Pedro on the right. Terrible cross from Pedro. Leans back and balloons it over the bar and behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, N'Golo Kante, it gets away from Chowdhury. I have to say, I've not said that often in this second half. Chowdhury's had a fantastic game. I mean, he is a fabulous player and he's improving all the time. I think he's had another very good game today, and he's kept Kante quite quiet for vast parts of the second half and the end of the first half as well. So you've got to applaud them for that.
Still in the balance. Chelsea 1, Leicester 0. Just over 25 minutes to play, and then we're into 6:06, and that test match continues at Lord's as well. Australia 3 down, heading for the draw really. I mean, the target is 267 to win. It's not going to be that, I don't think, but England running out of time to get the wickets. 5 Live Sports Extra for ball-by-ball commentary. Third test, we're immediately into that on Thursday this week, starts at Headingley. So even if England are 1 behind, they have had a better second half, certainly, to the test match at Lord's, and will be feeling a little bit better about life. We'll have to see whether the Australian captain, Steve Smith, is able to take part in that as well. Mason Mount's away down the left-hand side. Abraham inside him. He plays it to Abraham. Abraham lets it run to Pulisic, who turns and lays it off to N'Golo Kante, to Azpilicueta, just on the edge of the area. Curling ball in. Pulisic wanted to throw himself into a flying volley. The ball never got there. It's with Tielemans on the right for Leicester. Gives it to Evans. That was cheeky. Little backheel pass. Came off quite beautifully. Perez finds Fuchs, and Fuchs looks full of running here down the left-hand side. Arms pumping like pistons up to the edge of the area. Cross takes a deflection. Oh, Kepa just off his line, had to scramble back. Did he get a touch? Yes, he did. Corner for Leicester.
Well done, Christian Fuchs. All the way up the left-hand side there. Pedro couldn't catch him. Another phrase you wouldn't expect to see that often. Pedro's running on low gas as well there, but Fuchs, he chooses his time when to go on that left-hand side. Lots of experience, gets there. Good crossing. Unlucky it didn't dip over the bar.
5 minutes to play. Chelsea 1, Leicester 0. Christian Fuchs showing Pedro a clean pair of heels at the age of 33. James Maddison with the corner from the right for Leicester, swinging away from goal. Powerful header is in from Wilfred Ndidi, and Leicester have their equaliser at Stamford Bridge. And the way the second half has continued, you really did feel that was coming. So some thinking to do for Frank Lampard. Leicester are level. Chelsea 1, Leicester 1.
Yep, definitely the right result. This second half played very, very well. Leicester really believed in themselves, taking control in this game. Chelsea tried to make a change, but they just made it up front. The midfield is kind of falling apart, and utter domination by Leicester, creating chance after chance. That one is such a clear-cut chance. We're talking the other one. Chelsea have not had a good pre-season from set pieces. They've got that line across the 6-yard line. No one goes and attacks it. Christensen is it? No, it's Azpilicueta's closest. Doesn't get near it. Easy header.
Just watching that, Pat, and you're the expert. I'm certainly not. But indeed, he's not running to that ball. He's standing, jumps, and heads it in clean.
Well, he's standing. He's probably got a one-step move,
right? Yeah.
More than but that's enough to get above it. But really, a defender, you've got to be able to put him off. You've got to get your shoulder in there a wee bit. So 1-1, and it is definitely the correct result at the moment, or scoreline at the moment. Big questions now for Lampard.
Yeah, just over 20 minutes to play, second half. Chelsea 1, Leicester 1. What's happening at Lord's, Ellie?
Australia 88 for 3, 267 the target, so they're not going to get there. But Marnus Labuschagne has shown some real stickability out here. He scored 5 centuries in the county championship this season, and as a concussion replacement for Steve Smith, he's proving almost as difficult to get out. He's on 35, Travis Head is on 14. Australia 88 for 3. England needs 7 more wickets to win this test match, and it's looking increasingly unlikely.
As I keep reminding you, ball-by-ball commentary over on 5 Live Sports Extra. Fascinating 20 minutes to come here, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, and I'm watching Frank Lampard down there talking with Jody Morris. They know there's something wrong. They know they have to fix it. They should. Well, they've known it for a little while. They made one change. I just felt the change had to be made in midfield. I think they lost that midfield there. I mean, really early in the second half, it was clear that the energy was all with the Leicester players in that second half. So you can't imagine taking Kante off. Jorginho's a tough one to take off, because he controls the play when he's on it. And Mason Mount has scored the goal, and he's kind of the golden boy at the moment. So it's kind of tough. That's why I thought maybe, he would look at Pulisic being the one to take off.
Chelsea fans not happy. Conte penalised. He blocked a Soyuncu clearance, and then referee Oliver Langford felt that he pulled him back. We're just getting another look here at the James Maddison delivery to the edge of the 6-yard box, and a fantastic header from Wilfred Ndidi. Scored 2 goals for Leicester last season, off the mark in the second game this season. Chelsea 1, Leicester 1, and that as well, just like Chelsea scoring their first Premier League goal of this season, that is Leicester's, because they obviously started with a 0-0 draw against Wolves last weekend. Second change is coming for Chelsea, and it will be Willian who's coming on. Do you think for Pulisic?
Well, possibly Pedro as well. Pedro is running on empty as well. So you look at both of them. You got to think Ross Barkley must be a temptation as well.
Double change. Kovacic, Pat.
Kovacic is more sensible, because he passes the ball really neatly, keeps a hold of it. Question mark is whether you bring Mason Mount off. There's 2 or 3 players under pressure here. Mount, obviously, definitely Pedro, and obviously Pulisic as well. 2 of those 3.
Here's Mount on the ball for Chelsea, brings it down on his thigh, crosses the halfway line. Tammy Abraham running ahead of him. He wanted someone to go right. There is no one right. He's had to hold on to it. Fuchs spies an opportunity, dives in and wins the ball. Now Maddison outside of his right foot, looking for that pace of Vardy. Christensen sticks with him, gets a foot in, and knocks it out for a throw. And it's fascinating, Pat. So the changes are coming now, and you mentioned this maybe 10 minutes or so ago, to watch the action on the pitch, but actually to watch these 2 managers trying to have the impact. And Rodgers, as you said, with the far greater experience in a situation like this.
Yes, that's exactly. No, I'm quite surprised.
Well, number 4 went up.
Surely that's not happening.
Christensen off, Willian on. Surely not.
I think not.
No. Jorginho off, Kovacic on.
Well, I have to. I'm slightly surprised, although Jorginho has fallen out of the game.
Now, what do you think they'll do in midfield here, Pat? Because Kovacic, is he going to go into the Jorginho position?
They've got it wrong again, by the way.
So Christensen was coming off, and he's been sent back.
Yeah.
So the number 4 has gone up twice. Please get this right. Another time, Pulisic. Standing ovation for Christian Pulisic, the young American, still just making his way here at Stamford Bridge. Very impressive in Istanbul on Wednesday night. Flashes, I would say.
Not enough. Not enough today. No, absolutely not enough. He looked to me as if he was a bit nervous. The occasion was slightly too much for him today. He's a really, really top quality player. You want to grab him, get hold of him, shake him and say, look, you're really good, mate. Go and attack players.
Leicester have it on the left. Maddison dummies across with the left foot, works it back onto his right. Low ball into the near post. Christensen, who Chelsea tried twice to take off, still out there. Willian jumps and gets that all wrong with his clearance. Indeed, he got a little nudge there from Mason Mount, but no free kick. Emerson clears with his left foot. Lovely turn from Ricardo away from Willian, tries to tackle him. Chelsea are there in numbers, and Kovacic back heels it to Willian. The two substitutes combine, and then Willian's pass too far ahead of Kovacic and out for the throw-in to Leicester. Leicester change is on the way. This will be a debut for the Belgian midfielder Dennis Praet, who they signed for 18 million from Southampton. I was at Leicester last week, Pat, and very helpfully on the team sheet, on the back of the team sheet, the players with the difficult sounding surnames, they tell you how to pronounce them, so they basically help commentators out. And the way they wrote Dennis Praet, who I'm calling him, was actually Dennis Pratt. And I think he would actually say Praet, so I'm trying to do him a bit of a favour there. So he's coming on for Chowdhury, and he's been good, Chowdhury.
He's been superb. So whether Brendan's looked at him and thought, right, okay, we're actually okay in that defensive midfield area, we can leave Ndidi back there and bring a little bit more attack mindedness on here, because certainly Chowdhury's done nothing wrong in this game.
Worrying times for Frank Lampard and Chelsea at the moment. Off to a flyer in this game, Mason Mount's 7th minute goal. But now it's 1-1 and Leicester in the ascendancy. They have the ball with Fuchs on the left. Ball finds Perez. Madison, chance here. Madison still dribbling. Shoots! Oh, he's blasted it over the bar from 7 yards out. He had to score.
Incredible that he's missed it there. I mean, he's done everything right. It's on the half volley. It's one of those ones he almost thinks it's too easy. All I need to do is catch it on a half volley and roof it. He's got it too well, hasn't he? He's cleaned it out and it flew miles over the bar there. He's got to get that on target, and he really should score.
Oh, great chance for James Maddison to put Leicester in front. Chelsea 1, Leicester 1. Pedro is fouled by Maddison.
Do you know the question we were asking just a few minutes before there about, I was saying, look, Chelsea at 58 minutes looked out of it. They needed to make changes, particularly that midfield. They finally make changes, but it was after the goal went in. And maybe that's the thing you say about managers that have had a lot more experience. They know the right time to do it before.
I'm going to read you a text in a second, Pat, when we get the next break in play, that is going to make exactly that point from a Derby fan. Pedro's ball in. Abraham almost on the end of it. Willian scurries to the byline to try and keep it in play, but it's gone behind for the goal kick. So a colleague of ours who watches a lot of Derby says, same at Derby, Lampard's Achilles is way too slow to make the change. Hopefully he will learn quickly at Chelsea.
Well, you need to, because if you don't in the Premier League, you'll be in trouble. But it just felt, I mean, this hasn't been clever after the event. We're continually saying it all the way through, saying they've lost it now, they've lost the midfield, they need to do something about it. And whoever it was, you had to do something. By the way, they've not made it any better now.
Tielemans, 25 yards out, tries the shot, drags it low. Kepa was worried for a second, scrambles across to cover it, and it goes wide. Chelsea 1, Leicester 1. So that's definitely one for the phone in tonight. 08085 909 693. Chelsea fans, in terms of the changes that Frank Lampard has made today, and Derby fans may want to call as well with their thoughts on it. Frank Lampard learning on the hoof quickly as a Premier League manager.
The other thing is some of the players he's getting to know as well, but you need to do it quickly.
Azpilicueta clears away from Maddison from Vardy's knockdown. Willian goes down on the halfway line, wins the free kick for Chelsea. 15 minutes to play on 5 Live's Premier League Sunday. Earlier on today we brought you Sheffield United 1, Crystal Palace 0. So I want to hear from fans of those two clubs on 606 with Sam and Robbie this evening. Reading 3, Cardiff 0. Aberdeen were winners at Dundee after extra time in the Scottish League Cup second round. Rangers 3-0 winners at East Fife. And here we are, Chelsea 1, Leicester 1. Christensen, the Dane for Chelsea, comes striding out of defence and finds Pedro with his pass. Pedro looking for the run of Mason Mount down the inside right channel. Johnny Evans is there first, swipes it away with his left foot and out for a throw-in to Chelsea, which Pedro gets ready to take.
It's whether Chelsea late in this game actually can go and put that sort of pressure on that they used to always do, at home, late in games, and teams end up having to defend in the last, 18-20 yards. Hazard was part of that at that time, but they were able to do that for most of last season. It's whether they can actually manage to learn to do that again, and that's a big question mark whether they could do it. There is one before 606 people get too uptight about it all.
Yeah.
Chelsea had a difficult game in midweek.
Yeah, good point, Pat.
You know, and they've played 2 hours there, and they've got penalties, and they've travelled as well against a very good team.
In fact, we were actually saying that last night. Liverpool fans calling in, a couple of them not that impressed with the performance at Southampton, but making exactly that point of the football they had played in midweek. So you're right, for Chelsea it's exactly the same. Conte trying to get himself back to full fitness as well. Chelsea with more defending to do. Maddison, clever disguised pass into Vardy, angles tight, left-footed, driven across goal wide, behind for the goal kick. Went for that bottom corner. So often we see him bury those. He just couldn't quite get it right.
He's beginning to shred the centre-backs now, isn't he? He's time and time again, he's running in behind. Now I'm actually going to be quite slow to have a dig at, Zuma and Christensen, because in that number 10 position, consistently they're getting space there, and passes have been played from that area by Leicester. That's tough.
Chance for Chelsea. Mason Mount played in through the middle. He's got Willian in space on the left-hand side. Willian controls it on his right foot, onto his left, heading for the byline here. Drives the cross into the side netting. Chance is wasted. We're heading to Lords. Ellie Oldroyd.
And Travis Head has just been dropped off the bowling of Ben Stokes, coming on here fairly late on in the day. Horrible drop at second slip by Jason Roy. They both looked horrified. Head is on 26, Labuschagne 35. Looks like they're steering Australia to safety here at 100 for 3. And in 4 overs time we'll make a decision on whether we will continue into the final hour.
In the meantime, ball by ball commentary continues on 5 Live Sports Extra. Chelsea now have a sniff here as Kovacic wins the ball on the halfway line. Mason Mount goes dancing past Ndidi. Low ball is behind Abraham in the penalty area. Fuchs is there for Leicester, clears with his right foot. Just got a funny feeling there might be another goal here, Pat, and I can't decide which way it's
exactly. It was
go.
lifted about 5 minutes ago. You said it was only going one way.
Azpilicueta controls the ball in the Leicester penalty area, delayed the pass, it was blocked immediately. Maddison is back there to clear with his left foot, finds Tielemans, lovely touch on the turn, onto Perez. Vardy's there and the pass is wrong. Behind Vardy, great opportunity for Leicester. They are carving them out at the moment. Azpilicueta almost caught in possession, fouled by Vardy, free kick Chelsea.
But they're loving it, aren't they, Leicester? Because your likes of Tielemans are getting Maddison, are getting amazing space in that final third there to play little slip balls through to Jamie Vardy. They love playing in those positions, getting far too much space from a Chelsea perspective.
Kovacic, misplaced pass, didn't find Abraham.
And again, same thing.
Loads of space here for Maddison in the centre circle. Goes running forward. Conte is chasing him. Christensen steps up towards him. He's chasing him now. Kovacic is on the chase as well, and Maddison dribbles all the way over to the right-hand side of the field and wins Leicester a throw.
But you think about it, the area you never want to give the number 10 sort of position, between the midfield and the 2 centre-backs, just don't give lots of space there. How many times in the second half have you watched a massive big gap there in Chelsea's midfield area, but they've managed to get the ball, Leicester, and very, very unfortunate only get 1 goal.
Ricardo with a floated ball looking for Maddison on the edge of the box. Christensen there first, volleys it away with his right foot. The only reason I'm pleased that James Maddison didn't take that chance is that I know that Chris Sutton has him in his fantasy team. The next Fantasy 606 podcast will be available for you on Thursday. He's doing rather better than me at the moment, and so Maddison's scoring would not have been good. Mark Albrighton is going to come on, and Iosi Perez is going to come off. And depending on where you are on the field, the new laws this season is you kind of have to exit the field at the nearest point, and Chelsea fans possibly feel that Perez should have gone off on the far side of the field to us here, but Perez is actually, to be fair to him, jogging towards the sidelines. Both teams are trying to win the game.
No, absolutely. Leicester are not trying to waste time here. They fancy 3 points. They believe they should get 3 points, and I think if you stop the game now, Brendan Rodgers would say this team deserves 3 points.
Yeah. Albrighton on then.
Oh, but for the first 20 minutes, right? 15 minutes.
Just over 10 minutes to play. 6:06 on the way. 08085 909 693 is the number to call. 85058 on the text, and social media, the hashtag is BBC 606. Sam Queck is taking the calls alongside Robbie Savage this evening. Ricardo's ball forward looking for Pratt. Kovacic in the way, blocks it for Chelsea, and it's out for a throw in on the right. Leicester won here last season, by the way, 1-0 with a goal from Jamie Vardy, the only Premier League defeat Chelsea suffered at home. Willian tosses the ball to Ricardo, thrown into Albrighton, his first touch of the game, back to goal, chests it down, plays it to Ricardo. They back off Ricardo, let him get the cross in. Kepa comes and takes it confidently with both hands above Jamie Vardy's head, and then just bowls it out underarm, 5 yards to Conte. Cross to Emerson on the left-hand side, still inside the Chelsea half. into the feet of Willian in his blue boots. Takes a touch back to Zuma, all the way back to Kepa. How much do you risk now as Frank Lampard to try and win the game, Pat?
I think his natural attitude is to go and have a go and have a little bit of a try, but he's not going to change the system. He's not going to say to N'Golo Kante, take millions of chances and go forward now and play in that attacking position. He needs him sitting there now, because they're just too vulnerable at that back area for getting broken on.
Chelsea coming forward with Pedro, floated pass away to the left. Willian chests it down. Ricardo comes towards him. Willian early cross into the near post, looking for Mount, cleared by Evans. The bouncing ball. Conte wide to Willian. Emerson is on his left. Kovacic behind him. He goes further infield to Conte, 30 yards from goal. Turns onto his left foot. Tripped there by Pratt. Free kick Chelsea, I would say 30 yards out in the inside left channel.
They've not had a decent free kick from an area where they could have a shot, Chelsea in this game so far. And looking at it there, I think Mason Mount's going to maybe go over there and have a little bit of a dig at himself. He's very good from free kicks. And
David Luiz territory, Pat?
Yeah, David is. If David Luiz had still been at the club, he'd have been the one that was taking that from this position. But Mount's very good. If it was another few yards further or nearer in, it would be Willian taking it from here.
Yeah. Right, well, this would be some story if Mason Mount kills this into the top corner and scores 2 goals.
I don't think he's taken a big enough
in a Chelsea win. Well, let's have a look. Mount with his right foot goes for the top corner, way over the bar and behind for the goal kick. I was dreaming of the headlines, Pat, and you were the realist.
Yeah, I know. A 3-step run up, 30 yards out, with Kasper Schmeichel in goal. I think possibly not. I don't think there's many players in world football who could do that.
Goal kick Leicester, who've had much the better of the second half, and Didi's header brought them level in the 66th minute of the game. 8 minutes plus added time to be played, and there's definitely a winner to be had for someone. Praat's ball is intercepted by Azpilicueta. Short pass to Conte. Conte's ball slightly overhit to Pedro, had to stretch to control it. Did well, brings it down on the right. Azpilicueta on the turn towards Pedro. He's trying to turn away from Praat. He goes down too easily. Conte knew what was coming, wins it back for Chelsea, and then Praat with the challenge on Mason Mount, and the ball's out for a throw into Chelsea, level with the edge of the Leicester penalty area on the right.
And Chelsea fans try to get behind their team, but they know that the closing down the midfield is the way that Chelsea were doing in the first half. Leicester are doing it in the second half. Just a little bit lucky to get the ball there, but they've got themselves in the last third again.
Azpilicueta throws the ball in to Conte, gives it back to him. Left-footed low pass into the edge of the box, no one there, and Didi just clears with his right foot. Zuma controls it. A lot of space to run into, brings it forward, chips one over the top towards Abraham. Soyuncu leans over him to win the header. Evans clears. He claims there was a high foot on him there by Mason Mount. Evans again with his left foot, strokes the pass away. Maddison goes down off the ball, looking for the 1-2 with Perez. Thought he was blocked. He doesn't get the decision. Chelsea fans roaring their team on, desperate for Frank Lampard to get this first win as the boss at home. Abraham putting pressure on that Leicester defence. Evans happy for that to go anywhere, up the middle of the pitch. Maddison was just bumped in the back by Conte, can't control it. Conte sees Willian in space on the left-hand side. Ricardo read it, comes flying in and wins the header, and that's got Leicester going down the right. Albrighton to Tielemans. Tielemans wide to Ricardo. Ricardo looking for Albrighton. Emerson this time with the interception for Chelsea. Gives it to Conte. Emerson's now continued his run. He's over on the right wing here, and he receives the ball from Conte. Brings it back in field onto his favoured left foot. Lovely pass to Willian. Nods it down. Finds Mount. And Didi just beat him to it. Mount hits it hard. That's blocked by Soyuncu, and it spins away for a Chelsea corner.
What brilliant technique by Mount. The ball is bounced. It's up at hip height there, but he still manages to get his body over it and catches the volley on it.
Little confrontation between Abraham and Soyuncu. Something happened there that Abraham didn't like.
Well, he thought it was a handball.
Did he?
Yeah, I mean, the volley here from Mount. And there's an elbow, he's saying to the referee, you've got VAR, why don't you check it? Yeah. I'll tell you what, Champions League, PSG, Manchester United.
That one was the edge of the box, wasn't inside the area. But
fair enough.
Yeah, but you're right, Pat. Willian with his right foot, poor corner, headed away by Ricardo at the near post. Kovacic wins it off Albrighton, plays it wide to Willian. Willian has a second chance. Flags up, offside. Free kick for Leicester. And actually, Pat, had that been in the box, that would have been an interesting one, because it's that hole. Has he made his body unnaturally bigger?
His elbows were outside the frame, the shape of his body, and it hit his elbow. I mean, grotesquely, it would probably be given as a penalty kick, even though I don't like it, but that is the rule, that it could have been given because it is handball, because it's using the bottom part of your arm and it was outside the frame of his body.
Yeah, Premier League being less harsh on that than in the Champions League, the European competitions this season. We saw Glenn Murray, didn't we, on the first weekend of the season, blocking one in the wall for Brighton, where a lot of Watford fans, I think, felt under the rules that should have been a handball. It wasn't given. Anyway, doesn't matter here. Maddison's gone down, does win a free kick for Leicester. Long way out, 35 yards or so. Indeed, he thinks about going quickly, but actually Leicester are going to take their time. 1-1, 4 minutes to play.
Love to see that one again. Maddison got the ball, flicked it away from him, fell down. Whether it was shoved at all or not, the referee's given it. It's just a horrible game for Chelsea at this point in time. You know, there's 4 minutes plus injury time left, but it's such a wide game, it's such a long game. There's so much space in this game, there's so much chasing to be done, and they're definitely the second best in terms of fitness here, but understandable. A number of reasons for it, but the most important one being that game during the week against Liverpool.
1-1, free kick for Leicester. Maddison, I think, will aim for an area here between Kepa and the Chelsea defence at the far post. Kills it in, good ball beyond Evans. Soyuncu gets a touch and it just lobs into the arms of Kepa. 3 minutes to play plus added time. 6:06 on the way. 08085 909 693 to have your say this evening. Willian knocks the ball out of play, wants the throw. The throw-in's gone Leicester's way. Might have wanted a free kick, actually.
And I have to say, it's difficult to see from here. I mean, the assistant referee is only 20 yards away from it, so if it does hit him, he should see it.
Oh, yeah, right off Maddison's toe.
And that's a very, very poor decision by the officials there, to be fair.
Can't use VAR for that one, but you should be getting that one right.
Not just the referee, the assistant.
Yeah, that's
right
what I mean.
there. He's 20 yards away. He's got to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. 2.5 minutes to play. Soyuncu at centre back. Chelsea 1, Leicester 1. Sheffield United 1, Crystal Palace 0. Last game of the Premier League weekend, or this match round anyway, is tomorrow night. Full commentary on 5 Live from Molineux. Wolves against Manchester United. Soyuncu under pressure inside his own penalty area. Does well. Plays it to Evans. Slightly loose pass. Mount trying to get onto it. Pratt beats him to it. Picks himself up and finds Maddison's got options. Good one on the right-hand side is Albrighton. Vardy tearing into the middle, looking for it. Back to Tielemans with a shot, and Kepa makes the save. Chelsea still haven't got it clear. It hits Tielemans and goes behind for the goal kick.
Same problem for Chelsea again. Massive area. Madsen just fits. He sits in that area there and he picks it up and he picks this out. Right, left, to his centre forward consistently with millions of space. You cannot let that happen in the Premier League. I mean, there are actually better teams than Leicester who would have destroyed Chelsea over this. They need to do something about it. I think it is just the fact that they are tired. They've run out of gas and they're just hanging on to some degree just now, Chelsea. And by the way, Chelsea, have they created a chance this second half?
I can't think of one.
Exactly, and people will make the argument, well, who's going to be the scorer? Tammy Abraham, is it going to be Giroud? Well, you make some chances.
Mount, who did score early in the first half when Chelsea came absolutely flying out of the blocks. We've just moved into the 90th minute of the game. Zuma from miles out, 40, 50 yards out, blasts it with his right foot. Well, it wasn't the worst effort, it was over the bar.
Actually, I've watched him do that over the years. You know, in his first spell at Chelsea, he did that a few times, and without necessarily scoring many, he moves the ball in the air and, you know, causes difficulties for goalkeepers, but it was 40 odd yards.
It was a long way out to try and beat Kasper Schmeichel, but a sign of the desperation that Chelsea have felt in this second half, as Pat Nevin says, not creating the chances. Chelsea fans, Leicester fans, we want to hear from you on 6:06 tonight. 08085 909 693 as we move towards added time at Stamford Bridge, closing stages of that second test over on 5 Live Sports Extra. It's heading towards a draw. Australia will take their 1-0 lead in the 5-match series to Headingley. The third test starts on Thursday. Australia are 111 for 3 at the moment. Azpilicueta, right-footed ball, finds Pedro. 4 minutes of added time to be played. Pedro has lost it. Indeed, again in towards Tielemans. Albrighton making the run. He's in an offside position. Tielemans can't use him, and he's overrun by Kovacic in the end, who takes it off him.
I can never remember a game where Chelsea have given that amount of space between the midfield and their centre-backs, ever.
Abraham now, ball at his feet for Chelsea, edge of the box, curling right-footed shot. He was off balance as he hit it, and he's curled it well wide.
Yeah, he is off balance, and he kind of shouldn't be, really. He's picked up in a good area. He's a strong lad. Tammy Abraham there did everything well. He got in the right position there, but he stumbles. He just panics slightly, doesn't he? And that was miles away from being on target.
So into added time we go. 1 minute of it gone. 3 minutes to play. Schmeichel with his right foot Lovely pass onto the right instep of Ricardo, controls it beautifully, knocks it past Willian to Albrighton. Emerson chases Albrighton. Chelsea win the ball back, and Willian is quick, short, fast steps taken forward. Poor pass, and Ndidi intercepts it. Pratt in midfield for Leicester. Maddison with the outside of his right boot curls a pass to Tielemans. Ricardo's in a lot of space on the right. They were looking for Maddison again. Kepa comes out of his area, clears with his right foot. Poor ball out. Albrighton now prompting Ricardo down the right hand side. Maddison and Vardy in the middle. Zuma off balance, clears with his left foot. Albrighton controls it, gets his pass away to Tielemans. Conte is there trying to shut it down. Tielemans looking for Ricardo. Good pass. Cross in, and Vardy trying to flick it. Right leg behind left. Couldn't get the touch. Chelsea have managed to clear.
They have managed to clear, but they are hanging on by their fingertips, Chelsea, just now, time and time again, getting into those areas. And actually, Brendan Rodgers will be furious if he doesn't get free.
Pedro wants an option. Chelsea on the counter. Has one in Azpilicueta on the right-hand side. Just over 2 minutes of added time to be played. Chelsea 1, Leicester 1. 6:06 on the way with Sam Quek and Robbie Savage. Conte slows things down, plays it to Kovacic. Willian on the left-hand side. That's poor. Straight at Tielemans. He was looking for Emerson. Tielemans gives it the big hoof downfield. Jamie Vardy will love that. Chases it. First touch. Takes him wide away from Christensen. Maddison's in the middle and in a bit of space. Can Vardy find the ball? It's over the head of Zuma. Good stretch from Zuma, and cuts it out with his right foot.
He always does that. Cuts it out correctly with his right foot. He should have gone with his left foot, was the natural one. He does it all the time, but he's very, very skilled at it.
Leicester again winning it back in midfield. Tielemans to Maddison. He's offside. The flag goes up. I've not heard the whistle. Maddison scores. Kepa stopped playing. Chelsea stopped playing. He's blown the whistle and given the offside.
Yeah, and he's not.
When did he blow the whistle, Pat?
Listen, hang on. He's going to listen. Why did Kepa stop there?
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Never stop. Never stop.
This is what they've been told this season. You must not stop playing. Yeah, he's listening. He's listening. VAR are looking at this.
I thought it was very, very tight.
You have got to keep playing. The linesman, the assistant referees will put their flags up. They've been told to do that. The referees are told to hold the whistle. He's been given the all clear, and in a way Chelsea gets slightly, it's not natural to do that. You've got to do it.
Yeah, Kepa, they have to remind every goalkeeper, you never stop, never ever until you hear that whistle.
There are going to be goals scored this season where teams will stop and they will complain bitterly, but those are the rules. That is the way they're doing it. Chelsea 1, Leicester 1. That would have been something to talk about on 6:06. Chelsea losing the ball in midfield just willy-nilly at the moment. Vardy on the chase, another ball he's going to love against Christensen. Two of them wrapped arm in arm, battling hard. Christensen goes down and stays down. Oliver Langford blows the whistle and gives the free kick to Chelsea. Vardy's livid. He's saying that's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other.
It's really hard to tell. My initial one's immediately, that is Christensen.
Yeah.
That is a Christensen and a booking as well.
And actually, Vardy didn't want the free kick. He wanted to pick himself up and keep going because Christensen had stayed down.
That was, again, getting that completely wrong. That should be a free kick in a very, very dangerous area for Leicester, as Chelsea have got lucky again in the second half.
Right, 4 minutes of added time are up. That is the minimum to be played. Good second half from Leicester. Tielemans flicks on. Albrighton might be through. Kepa's got to get there first, and Zuma was just running with Albrighton and just nudged him slightly out of his stride. Brilliant defending. It's all over at Stamford Bridge. High-class entertainment in the Premier League. Frank Lampard has his first Premier League point as Chelsea manager. He will have wanted more because of the way his team started. But in the end, Pat Nevin, they were lucky to come away with the point because Leicester, in that second half, were powering on.
Yeah, I mean, the first 10-15 minutes were absolutely brilliant for Chelsea. They were stunning. Got these fans around here hyper excited. And it could have been 2, 3, maybe even 4 goals. It was only 1 goal, and that second goal didn't come, and that was important. In fact, that was vital. Belief stayed there with the Leicester players. Eventually, as I said, space would open up, and by the second half, and by before the start of the second half, the end of the first half, Leicester had begun to become the better side, and all the way through the second half, they were the better side by some distance. Some real problems there for that Chelsea team, but they were tired because of what happened in midweek, and probably just deserved a point. If anyone deserved 3 in the end, it would have been Leicester.
Match of the day, 10:30. That is well worth a watch. Mason Mount with the 7th minute goal for Chelsea, and Ndidi with the equaliser, and Frank Lampard still looking for that first win as Chelsea boss. Chelsea 1, Leicester 1.